Hello, 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 and welcome to the important nonsense draft party. I'm your host, as always, at Javanaugh87, Jack Kavanaugh, joined by a whole host of characters and critters. Neil, how's it going, my friend?
Doing great, and I'm most definitely a critter. But as a lifelong Bears fan and Bears hater, tonight's a special night. It is the closest that, for many of us in the NFL who love these loser teams, it's the closest that we're ever going to get to hope and victory. So get ready, folks. It's basically your Super Bowl.
Get ready for Trayvon Walker to be.
I was like, Jack knows all about that, right?
Oh, yeah, with the Detroit Lions. It's true. We are used to it. And so with that in mind, we have Jason chiming in. Jason, my friend, how are you?
I'm excited. I like the intro. I know you guys don't care, but Brees Hall is actually from Wichita. So proud Kansas boy that's now going to be up for a potential first rounder. Should be first rounder, but we'll see if he actually ends up there. He should be. But I'm excited for it, and I love watching the fountains behind them. These guys wearing these suits right now are just ridiculous, and how hot this has to be in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. Goodness.
Even in front of the Bellagio, man, it's a hot one.
Sometimes you struggle for the style, though, Jason. That's Jack knows all about that. Me and Jack know all about that struggling for the style thing. You know, I couldn't let Jack be the only one to dress up tonight either, so I put on my best, my P's and Q's. Got my hair slicked back, so we're looking good, too.
You're always looking good, Mason. Don't downplay yourself. However, it is nice to be, actually, Neil's not looking too bad either. He's got the zip up. He tried.
I shaved.
I know.
I didn't even come as homeless Jafar.
Okay? We are proud of you.
See, the issue was, though, is that me and Neil both said we were going to shave. We just didn't collaborate which side. So he did the stash, I did the chin, and now we all look a mess.
I already told you, Mason. It's because I don't have a chin. This is a chin substitute.
Well, you know what, Mason? Copying is the sincerest form of flattering. So the fact that you decided to copy my mustache is really quite a humbling experience for me.
I'm just trying to get like you, Jack. When you have a thick mustache like that, it's the envy of everybody at the ball. So, I mean, I'm sure you're used to it.
I am used to it. You know, people in public, people on the internet, they're always coming for me, always commenting on how lovely the mustache looks.
Oh,
well, and the Pit Vipers look pretty solid. Did you change colors?
I've got a couple different pairs. So it depends on
He's
which pair.
Sponsored by Pit Viper, I thought.
Oh, I wish.
I thought that was actually. Well, Jack, I'm doing that. You gotta go with me, man. You just speak something into existence enough times, and eventually it'll happen.
Right?
Like, it's kind of like an NIL deal. You just need to get it set up.
You just keep saying that. Eventually,
Pitt, come out, help our guy out over here. Come on, he rocks you every day. Free ad. You might as well make up for it. Good karma.
And if you would like to help me buy more Pit Vipers, make sure you check out our Patreon, which is it Nonsense FF, Neil?
It is Nonsense FF.
Nonsense FF. Check out our Patreon. Buy me some new Pit Vipers until we get that sponsorship in. Also, make sure you're tagging Pit Vipers as well.
Or just help us keep the lights on by signing up at our Patreon. That would be fantastic. Whether it goes to Jack's Pit Vipers or just keeping the website in operation as the person who does the accounting. Either one.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he got that job. Why are we allowing him to deal with the money? Do we have somebody else who can...
Oh, Lord.
For anyone listening on audio only, that joke doesn't work at all.
And
it was quiet. It's a subtle joke. You have to make sure you're watching to see that one.
And so, reminder for everyone, we will be live for all of the draft. We're talking first round. We're talking second round. We're talking third round. And new this year, we will be doing the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round, day 3 as well. So find us on YouTube, find us on Twitch, find us on Facebook, find us wherever you would like.
Y'all are crazy. That's a lot of contribution time. Way too much time you're gonna be spending up on here watching us, listen to us. So if you're actually able to hang around, I will be super impressed.
And the good news for you, if you are able to hang around, you'll be getting the picks before the NFL announces them. For the most part. Not always, the first couple especially, but as the draft goes on, the NFL becomes obsessed with commercial breaks and getting their money in. Whereas we, at Important Nonsense, we care about getting you accurate information as quick as possible. And so we will be taking the tweets from sources such as Duvie Kleiman, who I don't follow any other day other than draft day, but really good at that.
No,
I think we're all ready for it. I'm excited to see what some of these bets come out to because we have a lot of lines. The draft is such a crazy thing because bookmakers or odds makers in general are usually really into their own process and how they rate things and how they compare two teams that might, be matched up in a given week. But when it comes down to draft props and any picks for the draft, it's a lot of what they have to go on is some similar information that we have to go on. Mainly mock drafts, who has sources, who's plugged in, and who understands these teams the most. So I'm really excited to see what information we have and what kind of twists and turns we're in for.
And so what do you think that means for the recent Trayvon Walker steam?
Well, that's super interesting because let me look at what I have right here, what he opened at. So he actually, when the odds for these opened, he actually was a plus 3,000 to be the first overall pick. And that's a very high number. Last week, it had skyrocketed to plus 220. Just yesterday, minus 300. Now, as we speak, as it's closing, it's around minus 500. So the trend has swung wildly in that direction. And a lot of that is because of that athletic testing that he's put out and the questionable comments by Trent Baalke and the history he's had with Jim Harbaugh in the past. So I'm interested to see what goes on.
I truly do believe it's going to be Trayvon Walker. Not that I believe that's the correct decision, but as Nee will tell you whenever. Is Nee on tonight? Is he on
Nee
tomorrow?
will be on tonight. He will be on at 10:30, or excuse me, I'll double check the schedule real quick. I was going to say, I believe his shift starts at 10 o'clock Eastern. He is going to have a lot of ground to cover if this goes the way that it could.
Well, and here we go. The Jaguars are officially on the clock here.
Well, did you guys see Derek Carr's suit? Derek Carr came up with Darren Waller, and I love that white suit. White suit, black shirt. I'm not a big fan of the hair. The hair is kind of iffy for me. I'm not a big shaved head sides with the long hair. And now they're having Cube announce it. Wait, that makes me always a little.
I mean, if
little
we're just going
iffy.
to talk about the actual draft coverage, I thought the boo was weak. I thought the people in Vegas would be drunker. I thought they would get more into it.
It's
They've
hot.
let me down.
You have to remember. It's hot
I know
in
it's
Vegas
hot,
right now.
but that's not an excuse.
If it was in a
They've
pool,
been pumping
anything,
alcohol into you. It's Vegas since 6 a.m.
If
Like-
anything, it being hot should mean that the people are drunker.
Yeah,
Because
I'm not giving them a break because it's hot. This was weak. It was not a quality boo.
especially from Vegas, they should know better.
It's set the whole thing off on a bad foot, frankly.
You know what,
It's already
maybe
taken a lot of air out of the balloon.
maybe people are just happy to have a in-person draft again,
Maybe.
Beggars can't be choosers. Jack's right. I see that Jack is glass half full, even if he brought 8 of them. They are half full.
I don't know what you are talking about, my friend. I am just drinking my normal glasses as always. But does everyone agree that it's going to be Trayvon Walker to the Jaguars?
You know what? I'm not necessarily convinced. Just from it's obviously when there's smoke, there's fire. We all know that. But I think a lot of us are just like kind of putting that, Jacksonville's not savvy enough to throw a smoke screen like this and really mess up everybody's
Why
boards.
throw a smoke screen though if you pick first?
I was going to say that's an unnecessary tactic. Like,
well, but it's not
one.
necessarily because you could be thinking, oh,
Maybe
we
somebody
might
will come up and
shop
trade for
it. Yeah, you could really just like
I
try to
suppose.
throw it out of the loop. So who knows? I didn't say they were smart. I just said that they're not as dumb as they're given credit for. Somebody that I'm interested in that might go, that should be in that conversation is Ike Mekwonu. He's gone from about plus 1,600 to closer to about plus 450 at the close. And there's been a report that Peterson is interested in that. So that's always a nice, fade
Mason,
right there.
Mason, I respect your opinion, but I can't trust you after you said the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't that dumb. Those are the people that hired Urban Meyer.
And the people that didn't fire Trent Baalke.
Okay, you're right. My bad. We can retract that statement. They are pretty dumb. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. So
I do want to point out, though, I've heard that it is Ike Mekwonu at number 2 for the Jaguars board, not to the Lions. Sorry, I phrased that poorly. But
okay.
I've heard that Aiden Hutchinson might even be 3 on the Jaguars board between Walker and Ike Mekwonu. And if Ike Mekwonu falls, I am 100% confident that he will go to the Jets at 4.
Oh, yeah.
No further than that. Because Mekhi Becton will never play for the Jets again. I think we've all established that.
Yeah.
It's looking that way. Well, Jack, I wanted to ask you while there's still time, because obviously the Lions are going to be up here in just a moment. Who do you have for the Lions? I saw you made your picks, but tell the people if they didn't happen to see it. What's your rationale here?
So you can find my mock draft on Twitter at Javanaugh87. You can also find it on Instagram at Javanaugh87. And with Trayvon Walker going first overall to the Jaguars, it's easy for the Lions to pick Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah. The hometown kid stays in Michigan. Now, if Hutchinson were off the board, I don't think it's Trayvon Walker.
I think it's Sauce Gardner.
No. They don't
want that.
It is Kayvon Thibodeau. Those are the 2 players on the board for the Lions. And I think it's going to be that way for a lot of teams. I think a lot of teams are going to have Kayvon Thibodeau second on their board, which is why I have Kayvon Thibodeau falling to 9, because people love him. Teams just have different needs. And the Texans are going to Texan. The Jets are taking Icky. The Giants don't want – they need an offensive line. And
no, the Giants will do something preposterous. That's what I've got. It's my book. History's got my back on this.
Well, Dave Gettleman might have taken his binder with him, so hopefully all the bad habits
the stench of Gettleman is still all over that place. Like it's still there.
Well, and an interesting point too that Jack brings up is that both Kayvon Thibodeau and Ike Mekwonu both have a similar draft position prop of about 4.5. So if we're thinking about Kayvon Thibodeau has actually risen up a little bit due to some of these rumors of teams being interested to possibly even move up for him. So this is a super interesting spot right there at 4-5 because Ike Mekwonu 4.5, Kayvon Thibodeau 4.5. Something's got to give, and you can really make some money in that spot. Especially how Jack says that the Jets aren't going to let Kwonu slide past 4. I mean, then you're really in a good spot there.
And talking about in a good spot, we have the one, the only, at @nonsense_Steve Abana.
How's it going?
Oh, fantastic. Just waiting for that first pick to come in.
Good.
It's great.
Excellent. I figured we're going to be waiting on Goodell all night so he can spend like 10 minutes waiting on me. That's totally fine. I think that's fair. I think that's
And he was definitely waiting for you.
100%.
Right.
That's why they always started about a half hour late every year, because it's all about us, right? 100%.
Well, Steve, since we're just killing time,
what did I miss here, guys?
Well, I was going to tell you, since we're killing time, we did come up with a new merch store idea. So it's going to be.
You're
you're kind of putting the cart before the horse here.
Right.
sir.
you've got
Neil?
a new idea. Okay,
I've got a new idea for the thing that doesn't exist yet.
Just yet.
That's right. That's right. For the thing that doesn't exist theoretically, it's gonna be victories in the margins
And
then
Hold
on.
Oh wow.
The Jaguars will select Georgia defensive end Trayvon Walker with the first
All right.
overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. Trent Baalke gets the player he coveted, the traits, and the measurables.
Good for him.
Yeah, you
I
did
guess. See, the interesting thing about the pick is
I don't
obviously
know. Well, the biggest winner here is the Lions, right? They got their hometown kid, I think, right?
They did. They
Right.
did indeed.
Because I feel like this is going to be a pretty quick turnaround for them. The NFL is going to make them wait on it.
yeah.
No, you got to take the full 10 minutes here.
we need
We
two
need the
commercial
advertising
breaks.
time, but yeah.
To be honest, I'm pretty surprised that we got this pick this quickly. Thank you, Ari
too.
Myrov at My Sports Updates. But follow us because we even beat Sleeper on the announcement. And those are the only two people. The only people to announce the pick. Ari Myrov, us, and Sleeper.
We did it.
That's pretty impressive.
There we go.
We did it.
100%.
We've made it,
Way to go.
boys. We have made it.
We've made it.
Whatever. I'm still waiting until I'm there and I can just say, hey guys, this is the pick. Just silently pass it off while I'm live in Vegas or wherever they're hosting it. I'm really upset they aren't taking advantage of that giant pool by the Bellagio, just filling that with people and a big screen behind it.
Which prospect
Oh, I thought you
jumps
were going
in?
to say players, but
That
yeah,
would be
sure,
even
sure.
more fun.
Which prospect jumps into the fountain?
Oh, jeez.
Whichever one wants to get cut first. That's the answer to that question.
Well, I mean, Derek Carr is already there, so in the white suit, probably a good move for him. Really get that
know.
Vegas crowd up and excited for him.
Get the Vegas crowd hyped by having Derek Carr in his white suit jump into a pool. All right.
Jason and us have different definitions of how to get hyped.
Things get weird in Vegas.
Oh, hey, I
Vegas
just
is
got an alert, guys. The Jags are going to take Georgia edge rusher Trayvon Walker. I don't know if you've heard that anywhere.
Wow.
Oh, hey.
You know
And my
what?
phone also just told me something.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? We're on top of it here at Important Nonsense.
Home in Georgia, huh?
So what else did I miss here? Nothing?
Nope.
Not really. I mean,
We've been
All
waiting.
right.
for
minus
you
the
to
idea
make-
that we're going to tell you here in a second.
Yeah, we've been
Appreciate
waiting for
it.
you to make a special announcement. But
We've
All
been
right,
telling
yes,
people to-
special announcement indeed. So we've been working on a ton of stuff in the background, of course, obviously, as we always are. It never stops here at Important Nonsense. And we've been working on this plan for the better part of a year now. So to finally see it come to fruition, it means a lot to me specifically, but to everybody in the room in general. But you're going to see this a whole lot. So just be prepared to see it a whole lot. But this will be the first time of many to come. There you go. Live right now, shop.importantnonsense.com and get all your important nonsense merch, including the Jack. I've got my Jack Kavanaugh.
I straight laughed out loud when the Jack. And can I ask, who are all these random people you guys stopped on the street and were nice enough to model our gear for us?
Stock models.
Oh.
So we appreciate the work that they put in general. But yes, just general stock models. That's how that works. But there you go. Shop.importantnonsense.com.
The
You got
pick
another
is
pick coming
in.
in?
Yeah, already.
Oh,
Shocker.
of course, had to be, right?
The Detroit Lions have selected Aiden Hutchinson.
And then we just lost Jack because he's gonna now go talk about that
Yeah.
on his real podcast
I will
Jack,
back
I'll be good.
with his real fan base over there.
I'll
Hey,
be
Jack.
back shortly, my friends. Don't you fret. But
I'm a little worried.
remember,
but it's okay.
it is a great time to be a Detroit Lions fan.
I don't know if that's ever been true.
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Talk to me in 15 picks here, Jack.
What?
I don't think that's accurate at
I
all.
don't know if that's ever
okay.
been true is a good statement.
I'm pretty uncertain about that.
Trayvon Walker.
But I mean, at least it's the right pick. They didn't mess it up. So
Nope, not like the Jaguars. Trayvon
not
Walker
like the
was in it.
Jags. Yeah.
I told you, Mason, those are the same people that hired Urban Meyer. It's just not
You're
complicated.
right. I
They
guess
can't
I
make a
was-
good choice.
I
Like,
guess I was thinking with my wallet, hoping that the plus 500 Ike Ekwonu hit.
that's
as
what
opposed
Saeed
to-
Khan does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See the folly of that?
there we go.
This perfect.
All right, I will be back, friends.
All right.
See you,
All
Jack.
right, we'll see you soon.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm super interested to hear the beef that happened during this draft process between Falky and Harbaugh when it came to Hutchinson, because to me, that's a glaring mistake. And I think we all just touched on that passing on Hutchinson, who was a guy that was, amongst the best pass rushers in college ball last year for Trayvon Walker, a guy who, tested through the roof, but a lot of people kind of bailed out because of the scheme that Georgia ran. So it's going to be a pretty interesting season as we go on and what kind of news comes out about what really went down. So I'm excited. I love drama. So,
Well, I mean, in a draft class where there was arguably no clear-cut number one, he was a clear-cut number one. Like he was
right.
He was the guy that probably stood out ahead of everybody else that should have been the easy choice for anybody in that number one slot. So if they didn't want to take him, the Lions will reap the benefits here.
Yeah, but is anybody really scared of the Lions? Let's be honest.
No, but I will say this. I do like the team the Lions are slowly building.
Yeah, very
They were
slowly
handed-
building.
And
Yeah,
utter
emphasis on
dumpster
slow,
fire.
but yes.
It is slow, but they were handed an utter dumpster fire.
Sure.
And now in year two, they're going to be bad still for probably another year or two. But if they keep drafting the way they are, I do like the general direction.
Mhm.
Get big guys, build it from the inside out, and then get some ancillary pieces that hopefully you can develop and then fix it. Because it was so broken that there was no way you were going to fix that. And that's one of those teams you would see if you're looking at Dynasty Orphans that would be in the 95% off of bargain
Right.
barrel. That's what they were handed.
Right, that nobody wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a 1-year reclamation project. You're not just going to fix
Sure.
it. But I do like the general direction. And they're getting a little lucky. They're getting
Yeah.
a little lucky. They're getting some
Yeah.
help, which you'll take. If people are just
Sometimes
going to...
sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Exactly.
Well, also just being smart enough to realize that somebody has taken their brain out of their head and has completely made a mistake and just capitalize on it. Like it's a far cry from the Lions drafts that I'm used to watching from my adolescence and things like that. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, what are you even doing?
Yeah,
Well,
he
I
also
gotta
seems
tell
like a
ya-
Dan Campbell kind of guy. Like just his general demeanor and everything else seems like a guy that Dan Campbell would go after to.
Yeah,
really
no nonsense
offset.
type of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was the slam dunk pick for them. So really,
Right.
this is who they would have taken if they got one. So the fact that he fell to them at 2 just worked out in their favor for sure. So yeah, 100%. I also love the fact that we are now at 8:25 Eastern time. At this time last year, the Jaguars still hadn't selected Trevor Lawrence. So we're in great shape.
We're
already.
flying.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, we're
fantastic. We're already well past last.
People
year's
are
pace.
livid at their sponsoring this. It's moving too quickly. They gotta slow it down.
Speaking of our sponsors, shout out to Underdog, promo code nonsense, as always.
Well done.
Also, on the Important Nonsense shop right now, you've got these fantastic Important nonsense.
Oh,
yeah.
the
Neil,
idea.
Neil, go Neil.
So-
The
Now it's
idea.
your time. Pitch
So-
it.
Now is the time to pitch me idea.
I jumped the gun. My apologies.
Little bit.
See, for me,
Amateur
for me-
move here.
well, I forgot about that because for me, that launch happened a year ago.
Exactly. We've
Like, so
known
it's like
about that,
it didn't occur to me that might be something. That's why they sign NDAs. I'm in trouble in the background, folks. So I will say this though. So the idea, Steve, is we're just gonna put victory is in the margins, and then that JPEG image of Angel Herrera's strike zone
Yes.
just right underneath it. That's the idea that we
Yes.
came up with when we were sitting down
I
here.
love it.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's got to be on our store.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah,
got to
I'm
be
writing
on
that
there.
down. That's on.
Wait.
That goes on the vision board right there.
Yeah, that's
Well, did you just see his
We've
jacket?
got to get that. It's amazing.
So in Hutchinson's jacket, his inside has all of his vision board sayings custom like embroidered on each side from all the stuff that he wrote down and his mom like put it into his jacket. It's insane. But yeah, I really like that idea. I'm glad that Neil started off with a
I was
I
mocking
gave him a
Jason.
poor idea. Yeah.
I was mocking Jason, and then we eventually got to a place where that idea came
We
out of
gave
him
gold.
and the two of us going back and forth for a little while, and that's what we came up with at
It
the other
became a
end.
fully fleshed out
So
idea.
I was like,
like
"Oh,
it.
that's a great. Okay, well, we're totally doing that." Like,
Yeah. Spitballing
Gotta
is always the best way.
yeah. For the 30 people that get that joke, they will die laughing. One day you'll be wearing that, and somebody's going to stop you on the street. You got to make a new friend, because you will both understand that. No, everyone will look at you like you're insane.
Oh my goodness.
I love it.
Oh, picks in. Texan selection.
They're just
Sorry.
flipping through this
I
draft.
keep
This-
getting
They're
distracted
moving
by other
quickly
stuff.
Verizon's going to be so upset. They're not getting their money's worth out of this.
So an interesting tidbit actually for this pick, or hold on, let me see.
Derek
Let me-
Stingley.
Uh-huh. LSU corner.
I'm really
Yeah.
surprised. Okay.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting because as the pick was coming in, I was double checking my numbers. But as of this morning, Kenny Pickett had actually rose from 20-1 to 8-1 this morning to go to Houston. So they do have another pick, I believe, a little bit later. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
And there are the rumors that they're trying to trade back into the top 10.
Right.
And
So
there's a
we'll
lot
see.
of
So wait, that
Hey,
is confirmed. They got Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU.
Correct.
Corner.
Yeah.
That is
Okay.
confirmed.
That is confirmed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Just
am
make that-
watching.
we're just going to
it
make
as
that
well.
clear for anyone watching. Like, that is the pick.
Yeah.
For
And
actual
as someone pointed out
information.
earlier, as I think it was Jack before he had to go hang out with his real friends, Texan's going to Texan. So
I mean, that's a.
It's not a bad pick.
Yeah,
it's not a bad
horrible
pick. It's
but-
not a bad pick, but I think that there were potentially better choices than that. However, it's not what I would call like a catastrophe. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
Neil,
it's a good.
it was a fine pick. The consensus was they were going to go Sauce, and
I
kinda
would have
figured-
preferred Sauce.
Right.
I
But-
would have preferred Sauce. to
Guys,
them.
just
That's-
leave him alone. Just stop saying the name.
Jason.
He's not going to make it that far.
Jason,
man.
that is
Shut up.
if that happens.
He's,
if that
I don't,
happens, you
I
should
don't
be.
think he makes it out of the top
If
five.
you
I
should
I
go
said
place
about
that bet.
Slater last year. Like,
You should go place that bet if you think that's going to happen because the odds on that have to be really good. Go put
Yeah,
$5
the
on it.
here.
Jets
Make some
and
money.
the Giants both
Ma-
have
Mason, let's do the
2
real show.
picks
What-
in
Jason.
the top 10. There's
Jason,
no way.
What's the bets on that, Jason?
To put that into perspective, Jason, he does have a little bit of variance. The highest I found him in like 3 weeks was 7.5. So
You're not getting there.
that's a pipe dream. That's a pipe dream.
If you could find
all
someone,
these other teams need other stuff first.
See, but my
We need to stop
question
worrying
is,
about
that's right.
see, I think
And
that,
look, and in our usual fashion too, I got completely derailed from our announcement. But again, you saw it there on the video. If you use promo code draft22 for this weekend only, you get 10% off at the Important Nonsense shop for watching the show and participating with us here. So there you
Fantastic.
go.
and I know that everybody watching obviously read Vishal's best draft bets
Clearly.
piece. So you're
Of
gonna have
course.
plenty of money left over tomorrow morning to go on to the IN shop and get all of the merch with Draft 22. So
When you win that money, spend it wisely
there you
at,
go.
at the IN shop.
Or is it thank you?
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
would
the
be-
second we get this new shirt made, I'm buying like 4 of them because
So-
I need one for every day of the week.
What I
You
find
like the
most
math?
something back to the sport at hand we're talking about here.
Uh,
The thing that I find really interesting now that we talk about Sauce Gardner is that Derek Stingley obviously did go first and went in the top 3. We all kind of half thought it might be Sauce or maybe a corner or possibly another position. But the interesting thing is what that ripple it creates down the draft board. So another team that's highly targeting cornerback a little further down the board. I know that Jason's talking about his Chargers, but even a little earlier than that is the Vikings are the Vikings doomsday situation is both Sauce and Derek Stingley being off of the board come their pick, and they might be panicking right now. So, I mean, that might be an interesting spot where they might even try to target moving up if they really, really want to get one of these guys. And that'll be something we see play out here in probably the next 4 or 5 picks, because Sauce is definitely, like we said, his ceiling on lines was 7.5. So I don't see him falling too much further.
Well, this should be pretty straightforward, though, because the Jets seem to be all in on Ike Ekwonu. And I never say that quite right, but I think that's going to be the pick that we're about to see here. Does anybody have any other thoughts for the Jets that are coming up here? I think that's got to be.
I mean, they really need everything, so it doesn't matter.
I think the Jets.
Oh
are just
my
gonna
God!
use-
Nope, it's in. Ari just tweeted it out, and it's
What do you got?
Sauce.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow!
I was not
All right.
expecting that.
I told you.
Not to the Jets.
I
not to the
told you they
Jets.
had 2 picks. He
Yeah.
wasn't getting past them.
Yeah,
There
he's
was
not
no
getting
way.
Yeah.
That
They
was
didn't think
quick.
Sauce would be there at 4.
Yeah, no, it was quick because they're like, yes,
Yeah.
they all high-fived and then wrote it down
Yeah,
real.
just like
Yeah,
the
that's
Lions draft.
All
room.
that was, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what? They did what? Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Everybody's
high-five. Because all that months and months of work and planning and everything that you had to
Out the
do
window.
just got dealt with for you.
Immediately.
Your hand got dealt so well.
Mhm.
Yeah, take that, NFL. We just beat you to it.
The whole cascade effect of the Jags messing this up has been very interesting so far, just through the first 4 picks.
It's funny because you know that there's another timeline out there in the ether where the Jags didn't mess this up and everything went according to
Everything
plan,
went
but-
chalk.
Yeah, but here we
Yeah.
are, and
I gotta tell you, Mason.
They are indeed giving all
there
each
are
other
an
high fives.
infinite
and hugs.
amount of parallel universes, and there is not a single one where the Jags didn't mess it up. Not a single one.
They hired Urban Meyer. You can't
Oh,
make that
man.
mistake like, and still be employed. How is that possible?
Duval.
That is how Duval.
That's how.
Correct. Duval is the correct response.
Drinking the swamp
Duval.
water.
That was
Something
wow.
is in the water.
The
that is
greatest
for
thing
sure.
that they have ever done for the NFL is give us Gardner Minshew, and then they traded him to Philadelphia. Like they couldn't even hold on to that.
He was so swamp water. That guy
Oh,
was
man.
perfect.
That guy is
Amazing.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Like personified. It's
So, and
unbelievable.
another interesting note on the Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley, selection conversation is that most books out there had Sauce actually overtake Derek Stingley pretty early in the process for favorite to be the first selection there. He was
First
actually
DB off the board, right?
Yeah, first DB. So he was actually minus 200. So if somebody might have faded for a guy like Derek Stingley, who injury concerns were the issue, not so much his abilities and his talent level, because obviously that's through the roof. At plus 250, that was a pretty large value right there for sure.
Oh, golly. So they have to take a tackle or a guard the next time, right? They need somebody to give Wilson more time.
Well,
That's what I was expecting first.
What I'm
That's the whole reason
expecting, I thought they were going to take the full 10 minutes because they're still trying
Right.
to work that 10 pick to San Francisco to get Debo. That's what they're trying to do.
All right, let's see.
well,
eh.
and The
It-
rumor-
sorry, I want to make sure that it actually came through for the Jets, and it is indeed Ahmad Gardner, who is also known as Sauce.
Don't disrespect the man.
Yeah.
And you give him his government name.
No, I was
Call him
going to say,
Sauce.
Jason, you were even here before. That's the whole point. We got to, the next business venture for important nonsense.
Whoa,
is-
hey, shh.
Oh,
We
you
need
don't want to,
get that on
you
the book
want to keep
first.
that for you? Okay.
Yes,
All right,
we're
fine.
gonna work on that in the background.
Fine. All
We'll
right.
get the sauce line going, and then we'll be ready for
And
it.
then, okay. Got it. Okay.
dude,
Yeah,
we need to
all
make
right.
Neil sign an NDA. What is this guy's deal?
I have to
I
sign
know
NDAs all the
he's
time.
ruining all of our money
Yeah.
here. We're trying to make money, not lose it, Neil. Stop giving people ideas.
Jason Sauce Draven.
The problem is
I'm gonna
that Jason
steal
wants
it
to
from
do
you.
the things that I say that are jokes as actual ideas.
Right, yeah.
Oh, no,
It's
that's-
just
Apparently,
crazy
they
enough
might
to
make
work.
money. So
Absolutely. You don't think that? Look at this gold or his platinum chain that he's wearing. This thing's massive. This has sauce
Oh
on it
yeah,
with a bottle of hot sauce. It looks like already.
yeah.
Good lord.
He knows
it
what
has
he's
little
doing.
drippy diamonds
on
too.
brand.
I know it's slick.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jack's back.
Hey.
Hello.
We've had the nerd breaking news for us here. It feels really weird to have him be productive on the stream, so I'm glad to have you back.
Yeah, that is weird. Since when does the nerd do work?
Jack left for 5
Hey,
minutes. and
I
this thing went
always
off the
do
rails.
work. It's just in the background when nobody's watching because that's the best time.
Is that the best time? As an on-air personality, I would say that's probably the worst time to be doing your best work.
Whatever. That's how I bring all the money in. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's how you roll, right?
That's got to be painful, though, for Joe Douglas to pass on an offensive lineman.
Thank you.
Jason's
Literally-
upset because he's living in some delusion
Shut
where
up.
Sauce was going to fall all the way to the Chargers. And we had Mason look it up, and there was no sports book that was offering better than
Sounds
7.5.
It's close enough.
No, it's really not. It's really, really not.
More than double the picks.
Yeah, in the NFL draft, that's an eternity. Like that is not close.
Yeah, that was never happening. Not even close.
That's what you missed.
Yeah, defensive heavy though, and at the start of this draft.
I predicted that at the beginning. We were getting started. It was going to be defense heavy. I
My
thought it was
running
going to be
joke
icky.
for like a
I did
month
too.
now has been like show is going to start at 7. Actual draft will start at 7:30, and then by about 9 o'clock we'll get a fantasy relevant player.
Right.
That's
Right.
basically how this is going to work.
Yeah,
a lot of
That's
defense.
probably fair.
So who's gonna take the first fantasy relevant player, and who will it be?
At this point, it's either the Texans trading back into the top 10 to take a quarterback, or it's
Yeah.
going
To
to be
take
the
a
Falcons
quarterback?
taking a wide receiver. Yeah.
I was
I've
on
heard that the
Falcons wide
Texan-
receiver.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't understand why you guys do you what is the hate on Davis Mills here? Like he did just fine last year and he had nothing to protect
I
him.
don't have a hate on Davis Mills. I just think that the Texans are that incompetent
Right.
that they'll trade into the top 10 to take a QB.
He's got history on his side, folks. That's
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of precedent. What
a
he's
lot of
talking
history
about.
on that mountain.
And kind of
Yeah.
like what we had talked about. So these lines, when betting lines tell you so much about the draft because these odds makers are probably a little bit more plugged in than other guys.
Well,
He
the
beat me
New
to it.
York Giants select edge rusher from Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau.
For the longest time, he was projected to be the number 1 guy,
Yep.
and then he kept moving down people's boards because the questions about his work ethic. So that'll go real good in the Giants locker room. Him and Kadarius Toney are going to get along so well.
Can't believe
three
it.
and a
the
half
work
weeks that
ethic
they're
was-
teammates.
The work ethic was always overblown. People don't like the fact that he's got a personality, and that was it. The fact that he wants to have a business and a brand isn't a bad thing unless you're the Jacksonville Jaguars and you don't know how to manage your players.
I'm sad. This is much less ridiculous than I was hoping for my Giants pick for this year.
Yeah,
I'm
the
used to the
Gettleman's
Giants
not
doing.
there, so
That's what
I know, but I figured even the stench of Gettleman, sort of like how Al Davis ghost runs the Raiders, like you never really recover from it, sort of like that. But apparently, no. New leadership clearly has a little bit more of a head on its shoulders because that's not a bad pick.
No, I
It's-
didn't think the Giants would make it for similar reasons as Steve alluded to, that there are they say it's work ethic. They say he's a me guy, but it's really just he cares about life outside of football. He's a smart guy. And so for the Giants to overlook a player being smart, with the ultimate sin for the New York Giants, a player being intelligent.
Oh.
that's sad.
I wish I could say he's wrong, but history can't support that.
Trees on his side. There you go. There's that. We got it. We did it, guys.
We did it, guys.
I'm so mad that he beat me.
We got our first one in, 5 picks in, but that's okay.
We did it. We did it. We are trained professionals here at Important Nonsense. That's why you need to go to shop.importantnonsense.com, get all that merch.
See, now though, we run into an interesting pick though, because this is potentially the first spot where a quarterback might come off the board. And if not, I mean, we could be seeing a pretty far slide for guys like Malik Willis and guys like Kenny Pickett. I don't know. There's been a lot of smoke that Kenny Pickett, they like Kenny Pickett there. I don't necessarily see it. I don't see him as the first quarterback off the board or even a top 10 pick. But I mean, NFL teams do weird things. Matt Rule does weird things. So
if the Panthers aren't super sold on somebody, I think they're going to shop this and try to move back.
And that
because I do think they want to take a quarterback with this pick, but I think it's too early, like you're saying. Like there's just not as much interest in a QB at this point. So if you have teams like the Texans that are trying to trade back into the top 10, or teams like the Jets who are trying to move up, perhaps, I don't know. Anybody who's trying to move up here.
I was going to say the Vikings, if they're
the Vikings, because like you were saying, they're doomsday. Like this is their scenario where they want to kind of jump the gun here.
Yeah, you're running out of
or
options.
Somebody that wants to jump up and get a head start on the wide receiver market.
Well, and see, that's what I was going to say about the Houston Texans. They're rumored to want to trade up, not for a quarterback, for a wide receiver to pair with Brandon Cooks.
Because I mean,
that would be more along the lines of what I was expecting instead of the quarterback, because I really like Mills, but again, I still think that they need to focus on making sure that they can protect him.
Where are they at? 13 is where they're at. I don't think they need to move up to do it though. I think they're fine. There's
there.
enough valuable guys. And this is the kind of what I had too. I have all my numbers in my spreadsheet and my formulas and all that here again, just like I did last season. But what really stuck out to me in all this player evaluation is there's no Justin Jefferson, there's no Jamar Chase, there's no Kyle Pitts, there's no clear-cut guy at the top of these boards that you have to have. There's a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of decent guys that are okay, but like there's nobody on here that is going to wow you and be a real alpha difference maker for your team. So there's nobody to get overly excited about at this point, depending on, situation, where they landing spot, all that. But yeah, it's, to me, there's no one super exciting in this wide receiver class. A lot of these guys would have ended up in like back end tier 2, high end tier 3 of last year's draft class, but there's a ton of them that are valuable. It's about
that's what I was going to say. Deep. Steve, to me, the biggest thing this year, because of the way that it's not as top heavy especially as it was last year, but even in previous years, it's all about fit this year for the skill position players. It's wherever you're going to go. Like, so if you can get into the right situation, that's what is going to be the most important thing this year. Because there's tiers, but everybody within the tier is broadly the same. Mm-hmm. They do certain things well and other things not as well, and they have their own individual characteristics, but nobody within, like, say, the top 3 is demonstrably better than the other. So it's all going to boil down to where do you wind up, especially for some of these wide receivers.
And my piece of advice, don't be that person that falls in love with a player unless it's Breece Hall. If it's a wide receiver or any of the other running backs, let someone else trade up.
Mm-hmm. I think the interesting prospect about the wide receiver class, though, isn't necessarily where we see all these guys, but it's the number of teams that we see that are essentially wide receiver needy. And this run on wide receivers, whenever it starts, it's going to hit hard and fast. And some of these teams in the back half that might need a wide receiver could really struggle if one of these other teams maybe jumps up ahead and starts this run in the, early teens or whatever. So that could make a butterfly effect further down the board that has some repercussions we don't foresee yet.
Yeah, looking at unless somebody trades up here to jump in front of the Falcons for whatever wide receiver they want, I think the Falcons would be the first one most likely to take a wide receiver just because they don't know what's going on with Ridley. I'm assuming that he
Well, he's
will
out
come
for the
back
year.
next. Yeah,
but-
exactly. That's the issue. Like, are you going to take the risk now and hope that he's good until you have 2 receivers in 2 years, or are you going to take a quarterback there to? It's just it's a hot mess. I mean, that's an organization that
Well,
makes
that's
me
the
so
same
nervous
thing
about
too.
it.
If we're going to talk about the Falcons, so you've got Calvin Ridley, who was supposed to be back this season after taking the sabbatical to end last year, but the report was that just like Julio, he wanted out, and that they were basically on the verge of trading him to Philadelphia, who is another team that I fully expect to be looking at wide receiver here in the first round. And it fell through because he got suspended for betting on games last year. So Calvin Ridley's out for the year. He's on the last year of his contract, and he wants to be traded. They're willing to trade him. It's just, I don't think he's playing for the Falcons next year, even if he is 100% back.
And Calvin, if you're out there watching, hold on, Calvin, if you're out there watching, I always need help over here at IN Betting, my man. Come and help us out. I'd love to have you on the team.
And with the 6th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select North Carolina State offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu.
And that's another one where we thought he was going to go higher, so he fell into their lap. Why not?
They were always going to take the best offensive tackle available. And so the fact that they had full reign to choose, great time to be a Panther.
Yeah, so now it's going to be another tackle, right, for the Giants? You think the Giants are going to be smart enough to take a tackle here?
I don't know if I would call it a great time to be a Panther or a Panther fan.
No,
but
it's
I will
really
say,
not.
I will say it is a good pick though. That is
Yeah.
a smart choice because you don't know what your
I
quarterback.
think the one
situation
thing we
is gonna
can be
long
sure of
term.
here is no matter who the Giants take, we don't care. As a just very likely not a fantasy relevant player.
Very likely.
Probably another lineman would be my guess here, unless they trade out of this pick. Again, this would be another sweet spot where they already got Thibodeau. So why not, if Texans are trying to trade up, why not move back to 13, get some extra draft capital? If it's possible to do it. Because the run on wide receiver is 8 and 10 and then 11. So if you're the Texans, now is the time to move up if that's really what you're trying to move up and get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got if you really want your choice at wide receiver, you gotta find a way to get in front of the Falcons.
I love this feverish pace too. This is fantastic.
This is way better than years past.
Even
Well,
last
I don't know. They're still running this commercial with the pick is in. That's been in for a couple
this
minutes
is
now. I'm
true.
like, good lord.
I told you they got to fill those ad breaks. They got to fill
know.
these 4 hours.
They're already
But I don't-
behind on their ad breaks because it's gone too fast. They're gonna have to start stalling for time at the rate that this is going. Like, there's just gonna be a 20-minute commercial break at like the halfway point. The rate this is going.
I don't know. I am wanting these Ray-Bans though that can video while you're rollerblading. That was something I definitely need in my life, and I'm gonna invest in some of those.
Nonsense. We describe the commercials on the NFL.
That's right.
No, that's something I actually want. You know how much fun it would be to be have people just
We can't
direct
legally
live in.
show you the footage of the NFL draft coverage, but we can describe it to you.
Right.
Commercials included.
Yeah, I want it.
Especially the commercials.
The commercials are more interesting.
That's the only thing I care about. I don't know. I'm trying to pay attention to 6 things at once, and it's not working out well. If you
Well,
can tell
let's
my
refocus it then.
ADHD med has been working. out
Let's
great right now.
refocus here real quick and let's talk about the. I agree with Steve that no
Giants
one, we're not the Giants are. I'll be blown away if they take anything that's a fantasy relevant player. So let's just talk about the Falcons here for a second.
Mhm.
Let's assume that the Falcons are probably going wide receiver. If they are, who do we think it is?
Let's see if they have the big body guy. No, I don't think they would go with somebody fast. I was going to say maybe Williams, but that just seems it's early and he's.
Well, I mean, to me, it's either Garrett Wilson or it's Drake London. Those are
I
the
was
two
going to
guys
say
that
I was
people
thinking-
are most obsessed with.
Garrett Wilson is the one
At
that
the
I
top
think
of the
they would want
list.
to go with, that they might go with. But
To me, the best all-around wide receiver is Treylon Burks, but he's going to take time to develop, and the Falcons
full
need
year.
somebody now. Yeah. The Falcons need
Do they
somebody
need
now.
something now though? Because they're tanking though.
Doesn't matter.
Are they?
Still need someone to catch the ball.
I think that Jameson Williams might be the pick for them because they can wait for him to return from that ACL.
I was
I
going to
agree,
say,
Jack.
not scared of the ACL if you're playing the long game with
That's the thing. They need
Yeah.
they need someone now, but how now? Can we wait until the end of October for him to start?
And that I'm very much in the same boat, Jack, because what we see when we see betting markets versus what some of the mocks say, you've been getting some here and there and whatnot, but Jameson Williams has a pretty high draft position odd number at about 11, I believe was what I last saw it at. Garrett Wilson actually was the favorite to be the first wide receiver taken though. And I think that stipulation is that, Jameson Williams has to go to the right team that in Atlanta can wait on him. And I think that's what makes that, a great pick right there. Another interesting one is Drake London, who comes a little bit further down the board in, this wide receiver class is very up in the air, but a lot of people had Drake London going fairly high and in the top 10 and at plus 250 to be the first wide receiver off the board. That becomes a pretty significant value.
It depends what you want, because Drake
Right.
London is 6'4", 220.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Wait
a
until
beast
you-
of a man.
Wait until you get him in the weight room and actually get him on an NFL level nutrition plan
Yeah.
to see what he could actually fully be. It's basically he's like Mike Williams size ish, like that kind of thing.
Mike
So-
Williams and Brandon Marshall are the top two comparisons.
Yeah, he's if you're looking for something like that to pair with, if you're looking for something like that to pair with Kyle Pitts, I wouldn't look at you sideways. You know what I mean? Put Kyle Pitts in what is almost another tight end out there
Right.
and figure out how to defend it.
Actually, Brett Coleman recently in his mock actually did mock them Drake London for that specific reason, because many defenses can't bring two large, long DBs to cover a guy like
gonna be
Kyle
difficult.
Pitts and a guy like Drake London.
What
It becomes a
linebacker
matchup
is going to
nightmare.
cover either of them?
Right.
Like it's not going to happen. He's not fast. It's not. He's a little bit. He's a little bit. I mean, he's fast enough for his size, but he's definitely not the fastest guy in the draft. But what I will say, the video that I enjoyed of him, he will win every 50-50 ball at the college level. It's unfair. I don't know how it should translate to the NFL too, but when he goes up for the point of attack at high points of football, ooh, you are not getting that from him. That's the thing that jumps off the screen at me, where it's like just lob it down there and let him catch it.
That's one of the
big.
big critiques actually of Drake London is, he had so many contested catches. That's N'Keal Harry, why he was bad. Well, if you remove the screens and the contested catches, he's still first in receptions per game. He just caught that many passes.
It helps when you have glue for hands like that. I mean, we always value separation, obviously.
Oop, here
Golly.
he goes.
With the 7th overall pick, the New York Giants select offensive tackle from
Shock.
Alabama, Evan Neal.
I am stunned. Oh my god.
I never thought they would be this smart.
Right?
Get players that you could actually use to fill positions of
Amazing.
need. Not
Meanwhile, Dave Gettleman is at home furious.
there were so many good wide receivers available. What are they doing?
Thibodeau and
You're
Neal.
ruining my team.
What a start to the new
Yeah,
Giants regime.
Dayball's coming in hot.
This isn't as much
Getting
fun.
players he actually
They're actually
need.
making smart choices that aren't fun to talk about.
Yeah, are we gonna
Like,
have to start respecting the Giants?
No, we're well away from that. We're
Yeah.
way
Oh,
away
it's-
from that.
All right, just making sure.
Do
You
they
watch
have
your
another
mouth when
pick
you're
in the
talking
top,
to me.
the first round here? I might be
No.
a little scared if they come up for another quarterback.
No, they do not.
Okay, didn't think so, but man, have they?
Next pick is at 36. Looks like.
Yeah.
Well, they
second
could
round.
still potentially get a quarterback there. I just don't think it would be worth it over DJ.
No, I think they're set for this year. They're going to give Daniel Jones one last shot at this. That's why they already put out that stupid statement today saying we're not picking up his 5th-year option, but if he plays well enough, we'll franchise tag him. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like,
What's well enough though? That's
that's why I like to
like
say it's
what
vague
is
enough.
the bar?
I mean,
That's
he
vague
has
enough.
the-
That's vague
he
enough
has
that
all
you
the
can-
weapons. Like he should be fine. The fact that he hasn't been, I'm hoping that
Does he have all
having
the weapons though?
Okay,
Does
so
he?
when healthy.
my question, that brings up a good point, because if we look into when they pick next, some of the guys that are slotted around that spot are these other quarterbacks down the board. Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett actually both surprisingly have position draft lines in the mid-teens, but guys down there further back half of the first round and beginning of the second round are guys like Desmond Ridder and Matt Corral. Could that be somebody the Giants may target later?
I love
Possibly.
Ritter, but man, there's no way he's not. They won't take him. I mean, he's not developed enough, and you already had that issue with Daniel Jones. You want a quarterback that's ready to go right now.
If it was Gettleman, sure.
Oh, he would have taken him immediately.
Well, and if it was Gettleman too, he would have picked up that 5th-year option on Daniel Jones. Like, there would have been no
absolutely.
question about it. But because this is basically the one and done year for Daniel Jones here, I feel like he's going to get every opportunity to play out this whole season, see how he goes. And if they don't like what they saw, they'll bring in a veteran QB off the street next season and draft someone early in next year's draft, which is a better quarterback class. So I think that for this year, at least, I think they're going to pass on quarterback, especially with their early picks. They're going to try to fix the team around him. And if he's not able to play with the team they put in front of him this year, then they're just going to be done with Daniel Jones.
That's my opinion too, because the best/worst case scenario, you stink with Daniel Jones and you get to pick first or second overall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the worst case scenario is that you're middling with Daniel Jones and you win 6, 7, 8 games and you're
Which is
picking
why Daniel
12
Jones will
and
not
you-
play the whole season, depending here. If he plays well enough that they actually win and might be on the track to win something, he'll play the whole year. But if he stinks and they're going to end up middling, watch them invent some way to bench him.
The Bears said that about Trubisky though too, and I mean we saw how that all worked out. It's one of those things that like
but the Bears ended up with Justin Fields the next year.
Yeah,
sure, but off of like
the Panthers being the Panthers.
Circumstances falling in their favor.
Remember
Like,
that time the Panthers had the 8 pick and they were like, "Nah, we want Sam
we're good.
Darnold. Let's trade for Sam Darnold
because
the
they
day
said,
before
quote,
the draft. They'll
that
never
they would
get
never
a
a quarterback would never fall to them, so they trade for Sam Darnold. Oh, and immediately.
Right.
get
I mean,
proven
why
wrong.
would you want a new quarterback when you already have Sam Darnold?
Well, they traded for Sam Darnold the day before the draft because
Yeah, exactly. So now you have Sam Darnold. Why would you want a quarterback?
just like
have
this year,
Sam Darnold.
why use the 6th pick on a quarterback when you could just trade like a 3rd-round pick for Baker Mayfield tomorrow? I mean,
Right. That
Come
can't
on.
backfire.
Science, Jack. Come on. He was the number 1 overall pick. That can't be wrong.
Are they going to take Baker or are they going to take Jimmy Gorgeous?
I think
Jimmy's
Baker
too
fits
hurt.
more for Dayball than Gorgeous.
If Jimmy was 100% healthy, he would have been traded by now.
We're talking about Panthers, Jason.
Like I said, not paying attention.
I
He's
Great.
got
It
6
makes total
different
sense
things
for me that
happening,
Dayball
and we're
could-
the least important.
Yeah,
Jack-
I have
Jack's
4
like-
screens going right now. Give me a
Jack's
break.
like, "Are you sure you're there?" Jason's like, you guys asked me to be here. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm still trying to beat Jack on another pick. That's more my goal right now.
Good luck with that. If you got Sauce going to the Charger,
Hey.
in the lead.
But
I was the one who
again-
broke that though. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
Oh,
fantasy relevance with Drake London.
there we go.
Hey!
Atlanta
Drake
Falcons.
London, nailed
They
it.
did it.
Wow,
All right.
Here we go.
Hold on.
I actually really like that pick. Mostly because I really
Okay,
like.
Hold on,
you know,
Jason.
the
We'll get into
Trojans.
it.
Are you good? Hold on. Where is it? D. There he goes. Drake London.
Fantastic news.
So we already kind of talked about it.
So
I
Drake
mean,
London.
High
straight-
points the ball well. He's got decent speed, good athleticism. And again, he was in a situation in USC where he had really horrible QB play. So now he gets Marcus Mariota, which doesn't get a whole lot better, but maybe a little bit better. And he's going to be the one behind, well, the one in the wide receiver room. But, Pitts is still
And that's
the
the thing
target
is,
monster.
we know he can handle a bajillion targets. And he can carry an entire offense himself.
Yeah.
They just don't make very many people that are 6'4", 220 that are built to run and move.
You can't
and
teach that.
No, you really can't. I also we talked about Mike Williams earlier, but Marcus Colston is another good one. He does remind me a lot of Marcus Colston, just the way he kind of plays the slot and weaves his way through players, and he's just so big that nobody can do anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one. And we talked about it. I don't hate it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't hate it for the Falcons. The simple idea that I have Kyle Pitts and now I have Drake London, and I'm going to put them both running down the middle of the field on you, and you tell me how you're going to defend it.
Right.
No, I
that's a
quite
nightmare,
enjoy it.
I think at this point, this pretty much means that Wilson has to be going to the Commanders, right? That has to be the pick that they're going to go with. Because I really thought that was a toss-up between London and Wilson for him. So I think that kind of seals the deal for him.
Kyle Hamilton rumored to be a big, or sorry, not big, but high up on the Falcons draft board.
Man, this is a big dude. God. Things you can't teach, man. What I wouldn't give to be 6'4", just walking around hitting my head.
Like
on
I said,
stuff.
just from the numbers he had, the target percentage, everything he was able to do, his breakout age, all of that. Like Drake London, he tested out as my number 2 wide receiver right behind Treylon Burks. So he was in that conversation. Being a top 10 pick, I'm sure is going to move him up my list here if my spreadsheet will ever move for me. But yeah, I mean, Drake London tested out the charts for me. I'm sure he's going to move up, and he's at least going to be in a top 5 position in rookie drafts coming up here in the next.
I was going to say he's probably so far because it'll be depending on landing spot. It'll be
it's between him and Burks. And really the only thing that can help Treylon Burks at this point is if he ends up landing in Green Bay. If he becomes the new number 1 in Green Bay, he's the verified
Kansas
number
City?
1 wide receiver. Nope.
No, too many mouths.
You got Juju.
And you got The thing that I like about that's why I'm saying London's probably like 4-ish, something like that, because they're going to have to throw the ball because they're going to be terrible. They're going to try and run the ball with Cordarrelle Patterson again. We'll see if lightning strikes twice. I love it, but it's like it's unproven, and to a certain extent. But it's like they're going to have to throw a ton because their defense is going to be awful again. They're going to be chasing, and who are you throwing it to now? It's Drake London and it's Kyle Pitts. And they're going to have to throw it a ton. Granted, it's Marcus Mariota throwing the football, so you don't love it because obviously not all targets are created equal, but they have to go somewhere. A lot of passing is going to happen. So,
yeah, the dude who forces 22 missed tackles is
with the 9th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. The Seattle Seahawks select offensive tackle Charles Cross.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little disappointed in the pick. Not because of the player. Charles Cross is a great player, but because I was, as a Broncos fan, having given up this 9th pick to Seattle so they could select, I was hoping for more Seattle, antics of just nonsensory that they selected. So I'm a little disappointed.
So you're hoping for Breece Hall right here is what you're really wanting.
Something like that, right? Or they could have just pulled anything out and I would have liked it, but they've made the good pick.
So Jets on the clock about to draft Debo. And then
they're trying.
All right, here we go. I officially have it. Are you ready?
Right.
Drake London. Let's see. Compared to the guys in the last few years, a 10.83 score after being drafted 8 overall. So that puts him just behind. Well, it puts him a full percentage point behind guys like Justin Jefferson, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman. So like I said, no, not compared to anybody in that class, but it does put him ahead of roughly the same score as N'Keal Harry, just ahead of A.J. Brown, Jalen Reagor, Tutu Atwell. That's kind of the territory Drake London lands in.
But a lot of opportunity, and that's what really matters for fantasy.
Yep.
Dude is going to have so much opportunity.
Volume.
He will be fantasy relevant for sure. immediately. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, you know who becomes even more fantasy relevant with this move? Rashad Penny, because Chris Carson's done. His career
unless they draft a running back.
Yeah.
Because it is Pete. So
They're gonna trade back up. They're gonna trade up in there, get another one.
Goodness.
I'm just waiting for it to happen.
Pete's also working like 4 trades at any
Mhm.
given
Constantly.
time on his U up phone.
On his U up, his
Yeah,
burner.
his U up phone that he uses for texting running backs and also co-eds allegedly, although it was proven in court. So.
Golly.
All right.
And an interesting thing in the rumor mill, because like we said, these lines are always forced by the rumor mill, is that Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher, has been linked to the Jets here, and that's actually skyrocketed his odds up the board. I don't even think I have them in front of me because they were kind of a weird number that he started at to open. I'm locked up. Weird number he started at to open the thing at and just completely plummeted. So this is going to be an interesting tidbit here to see.
Oh, and here's the thing. Seahawks, after fielding calls for a possible trade, which made this a little messy. What could possibly be messy right now in the trade up for the Seahawks? Or trade back for the Seahawks? Who's trading up? Is it the
I still
Steelers?
think it's the Texans trying to jump the Jets and the Commanders, who are both teams that I think could potentially go wide receiver here.
I'm pretty surprised how easily we would transition to the Commanders. I'm not gonna lie. Like this being a first live show, the fact that we've gone straight to the Commanders is I'm super impressed with us. Just a pat on our own back.
Well, I just hated saying football team, so I was ready to say anything
Yeah,
else.
that's true.
It's
The what?
really
True.
No, but WFT was like the best abbreviation. When you got to write about them, I didn't have to write any names, just WFT.
Yeah, but I just kept
and it
going
became perfect.
WTF.
WTF,
and
yeah,
it was
exactly,
just-
because
it
that's
was
really what the
messing-
team is.
really
I
messing
mean-
with me.
Is it that wrong though? Is it that far off?
No, it's not wrong,
Exactly.
but it's slander, and I'm not trying to get sued because the Snyder team-
Especially not by them because
So,
they're
yeah.
desperate, so they'll sue anybody, right? I mean,
exactly.
I mean, they've got enough problems with getting sued right now. So
Yeah.
Seattle style is more like Christian Harris, linebacker from Alabama, round 1.
uh,
Yeah, if they had taken Devin Lloyd, would anyone have been surprised?
Not really.
I was going to say this is going to take the full time, right? Because the Jets are going to be trying to burn this pick down for Debo.
Yeah, they're trying to get
they're
Debo.
They're going to try to do
doing
this for
everything
the
they can
entire
to
duration.
swing for Debo.
Yeah,
Is
this
it?
where
And it's
it'll
not just
climb
Debo
back.
either, because you know that they're trying to get Metcalf. You know they're trying to get AJ Brown. You know they're trying to get Scary Terry.
Well,
If
maybe
nothing
that's
else,
that's
like,
the messiness right there. is
They're either
they-
trying to trade to get one of those players, or if they can't get someone to bite, they're trying to trade back to keep
Yeah.
having the capital to trade and get one of those players. It's like, oh, you won't take 10? All right, I'll give you some more extra picks down the line and 15 because I'll trade back to 15 and buy myself more time.
They just showed Pete, and he looks so upset.
Well, it's not. He wanted Brees Hall.
Thank you. That's
He
exactly-
was really had his heart set on it. Like
He needed a new guy. Hey,
Yeah.
you up?
exactly. No, that's exactly. Was that? Wow, was Pete there? Did Pete show up? Because that's exactly what it sounds like.
So next question for the Seahawks: who starts at quarterback? Drew Lock
Drew Lock.
or the incumbent who knows the offense, Geno Smith?
Lord
Drew
help
Lock
them
at
either
first,
way.
and then Geno Smith, or Geno Smith, who will then suffer some sort of injury that will force him to sit down, and then Drew Lock will Wally Pip him, but won't be good enough to actually win any games because we've seen a lot of that movie before, and it's like so it'll be one or the other. I think they'll end up splitting the job at some level.
I
by
said
hook
it when
or
they
by crook.
made the Russell Wilson trade, in that Drew Lock is the ultimate quarterback that Pete Carroll has always wanted. Somebody that knows how to just take a snap and hand it off to someone. I mean, that's all he's looking for.
This is it.
You don't
This
want
is
to
Drew
pass
Lock.
the ball?
This
Beautiful. Welcome to Seattle.
yeah, that's Drew Lock.
The
perfect
problem,
choice.
though, is
He
when
can
they
throw
need-
bombs.
Can he though?
He can physically do it, but can he
Yeah.
hit the thing he's aiming at?
That's
I was
the
gonna say the
thing.
problem.
That was
The problem
not
is
part of the requirement.
He didn't
guys.
say accurately throw bombs.
Yes,
He
it
just
was.
said throw bombs.
he likes to throw the ball. He's just colorblind and can't tell which team his jersey's in. So
Yeah.
He could. It's
I
handoff,
think-
handoff, play action, yeet, handoff, handoff.
Handoff, ball in the dirt to Cortland Sutton that was impossible to catch.
Yeah.
Handoff, punt.
I think we're looking at Desmond Ridder in the second round for the
Sure.
Seahawks.
Sure.
Because
Possible.
that's someone who can take care of the football.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
isn't
when
Drew
somebody can
Lock.
get that 50-50 ball, maybe.
You mean DK Metcalf? Oh, Desmond Ridder needs a tall, athletic wide receiver like Alec Pierce.
Thank you.
Sounds like DK Metcalf.
I don't know who that could be. You mean the guy who's like the T1000? That's basically what DK Metcalf is. Remember when he ran that guy down from behind? It was like one of the most athletic things I've ever seen in my entire life. He looks like the T1000 and like T2, just running like this. It's terrifying.
Remember when
Yeah,
Pete
Buda
Carroll
Baker.
took off his shirt?
Do you remember that? Remember that too? Oh, that was a better draft.
the good old
already
days.
such a better draft.
DK Metcalf at the end of round 2. Those were.
There you go.
Debo Samuel is not traded to the Jets.
Oh.
Instead, they select fantasy relevant wide receiver Garrett
There it is.
Wilson.
Okay.
Wow.
Not completely surprising.
Nope.
They were going to get their wide receiver either way. It was just, were they going to be able to make the trade happen, or did they have to draft one? And they had to draft one.
But I don't understand. Oh my gosh, that drives me crazy.
There he is out there. Gadget guy, nimble, can make you miss, can also knock you on your ass. He's got good hands. He's good over the middle and on the outside. He can do a lot of stuff for you. He's going to fill a lot of needs for them in their passing game to pair with more. It's just, I don't know. They spent all that money on Corey Davis.
Well,
You
And
still
with
had
Corey-
Mims from a couple years ago.
oh, Mims. Mims.
I
is
understand that, but he was
Mims
a
is
top
done.
15 pick from like 2 years ago, and you spent all the money on Corey Davis,
Old
and last
regime.
year you drafted Elijah Moore. Like, they've put a lot of money into that wide receiver room, and here they go again. Jet's gonna jet.
So I think what this means is they know Corey Davis is not a wide receiver 1.
Mhm.
Elijah Moore.
Look, we all know Corey Davis isn't a wide receiver.
Right. But
This
then now they know it too.
Now they've confirmed that Corey
Yeah.
Davis isn't a wide receiver.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you that.
And so this lets them move on from Corey Davis next year when they can get out of his contract. But for this year, you put Elijah Moore in the slot. You have Garrett Wilson at the Z position, and you have Corey Davis as the big dummy X receiver that you don't throw to.
Fair enough. And then you have Braxton Berrios running jet sweeps for you.
Yeah.
You also
And-
do that. That's
And it's
also a thing you
also
will do.
interesting to me too that the player comp on Wilson is Jerry Jeudy. Is that a good thing or a bad thing at this point? Do we know?
No, I don't think we do
Right?
actually. I think we have a mixed bag of results on that.
I think it's good.
But I will say I do like Garrett Wilson. Obviously, you saw the highlights of it. The run after the catch is where it's at. Like he's good at when he gets into his route, he's good and he'll leave people in the dust. He'll stiff arm you out of the way. He'll juke you out of the way. He's only 6 feet tall. He's 180 pounds soaking wet. I refuse to believe he's actually the 183 they list him as. But we'll see. He should put some muscle on. And I don't hate necessarily the idea of having Elijah Moore with now Garrett Wilson with Braxton Berrios. It does give you a certain like weird. It's going to be weird to watch them try and throw the ball down the field. But as far as running this almost like 3-way, you got one guy going in motion and then you have 2 guys that run like crossing routes like that. They'll do a lot of that. And it seems like that might be their offense. So if that's what you're trying to architect,
Yeah,
we've
so are
seen
you
that
looking
kind of
at
style work before.
Uzama or are you looking at who is
Tyler
the other tight end?
Conklin?
Yeah, Conklin. I mean, those are your tight ends that you have right there.
Well, they're
that he could
banking on
easily pass catching.
Uzama. They're banking on Uzama, and if he stays healthy, I've always been a CJ Uzama guy. Like when he's actually healthy, he's a solid player. But it's not the worst. This is not the worst thing.
This is a CJ Uzama company. We all know that.
Yeah, we all exactly. we rep Uzama here. Thank you. If Knee Wallace Bruce shows up and here's you talking about
Yeah.
CJ Uzama, you won't be dealing with me anymore.
Trade alert.
Uh-oh.
The Commanders are moving back from 11. With
They
who?
really wanted Wilson.
Yeah,
They
told you.
did.
That's probably true.
They were hoping for Wilson or London, and when both went,
Yeah.
with the Saints.
Oh wow.
The Saints go marching in for Jameson. Is that what's happening?
Oh my gosh. That.
So the Saints are on the clock. We just don't know who it is. Is that where we're?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Golly.
Well,
All right,
Who would they
perfect.
go
yeah,
for?
well, because it resets, right? When they
Yes,
make
it does.
Yeah, when they take over officially.
Yep.
All right. Well, we can look at this real quick. then.
possibly for
So
Malik
Penning?
Willis.
Oh.
So there you go. There's your top. Or do they trade up for Pickett? That would be gross.
Oh, that would be gross.
But
God.
while I swallow down the vomit,
Ugh.
the top 10. Anything stick out to you guys? There was only 2 fantasy relevant players on there, really, but
The fact that we got 2 sticks
That
out
out.
to me.
Beat me to it. Beat me to it. I thought we would only maybe get 1, and we got 2.
perfect.
But do you really think Garrett Wilson is going to be fantasy relevant? I mean,
Oh,
that's my biggest
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, no, I do.
No,
actually.
Garrett Wilson has the highest floor out of these receivers. At worst, he's a wide receiver 3 in fantasy football, whereas Treylon Burks and Drake London, I like them, but we've seen it in the past where these big outside clashers fail. We've seen N'Keal Harry, we've seen Laquan Treadwell. So I believe in both of them, don't get me wrong. However, they don't have the floor that Garrett Wilson has where he gets open at will and has the wheels to match.
But who's throwing him the ball again?
Right. That's his
That's more
biggest
my
issue.
issue. Volume is king, brother.
Yeah. Well, to me too. So
He'll get, but he's still wide receiver 3, as I said. You're not going to bust on Garrett Wilson.
well, like I said, you saw it on the infographic there, but in the ECR, for me, he was my wide receiver. I think he was 6 overall. I forget what it was. Where was he? Gary Wilson. Yes, wide receiver 6.
Really?
Yeah, good, not great. He's all right. But again, it's a whole grab bag of guys that all of them I think are going to fall into the same type of area on the board. It's just a matter of where they land. Him landing with the Jets for me is a big negative that moves him down the list. I think I'm going to be closer to right than the ECR, which had him as the number 1 wide receiver, number 2 overall on rookie drafts before the draft happened. So him going to the Jets to me is going to hurt his value. He's going to be a lot closer to where I had him than where the ECR had him.
I was going to bring that up because I have the ECR right here, and he is right behind Brees Hall as the number 2 overall. So they're huge onto Garrett Wilson, and we talked about it a little bit ago. We touched on it. It's all about fits.
Yeah,
and that's like I love the London fit. That's something to me where I'm like, you could walk out there, you're going to get the volume. Your quarterback is terrible. That's a negative, but you're giant guy that I don't think they're going to have him really too much on the perimeter. I think they're going to try and work him inside and have both him and Pitts running down the field.
Oh,
We'll see how that actually
fantastic.
translates.
So you put in his pick at 110, and Garrett Wilson comes out to a 9.98 on the scale, puts him in the exact same range as DK Metcalf, Tylan Wallace, Terrace Marshall, and Denzel Mims. So there you go.
Say no more.
Yeah. That was my worry, is that I was like, they already have Mims. Why would you want this pick? So them getting Debo was their hope. That was their hope.
Past regime,
Previous
They've
regime,
given up
and
on
they've given up on
And
him
Mims
already.
deserves he either needs to go play somewhere else.
Yeah,
Frankly,
I don't
like
think
just
it's
go.
Denzel
I wonder how
start
cheap
over.
he can
Denzel
get it
Mims
for,
is that
'cause-
great.
I'm
I
not
mean, if
convinced of that either, by the way. That's what I was telling Aiden when he was drafted. I'm like, I'm not
What is
sold
his-
on this
what
at
is
all.
his 40?
But real quick, I'll finish my thought from a moment ago. Wilson was
Mims?
2, London was 5 in the overall ECR as of
Yeah.
updated as of today, right before the draft. Wilson 2, London was 5 overall. For me, it's like do you flip flop that now?
I would, like I said, I had
I know you had it
Wilson at
different.
9 overall. So
Yeah.
for
Apparently,
me, yeah.
the Jets rejected a trade from the Saints, or sorry, not the Saints, the 49ers to pick Garrett Wilson.
So Jason, official 40 times. Denzel Mims 4.38, Garrett Wilson 4.38.
Wow. Astounding. Can I get him on the Chargers for cheap? Can I do that
Who,
right now?
Mims?
Because I would
Who,
really like
Mims?
some speed.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
Who, Mims,
at this point,
probably.
we can send Guyton back for you guys. Here, take Guyton, and I will gladly take Mims because we need somebody to stretch that field a little more.
Oh, there's the trade officially.
Yeah, pick
So
9.
the Saints get the Saints
19,
trade
98,
16, 98, and 120 to the Commanders for 11.
Fantasy life is way behind. Wow, boys.
And the Saints select another fantasy relevant player, Chris Allave.
All right.
That's fine.
I did have the Saints taking Allave with their second pick.
Feel like this was unnecessary, but okay.
Yeah, I was like, you
No,
could have
they
waited.
did need a wide receiver.
I didn't
Well,
know that.
again,
I don't know.
Vikings
but
have been
not
linked
this-
to wide receiver or DB, and then we've been talking the whole time about the Texans moving up for potentially a wide
That's true.
receiver.
And the
So,
DB's already the two best two are already gone.
right.
So you're
where's
you're stacking the deck
There he
against
is.
the Vikings.
Well, and another interesting thing about the pick is obviously that Jameson Williams was the favorite in Vegas to go there, but at 11.5 his pick position. Now he's falling down boards.
Now, don't get confused, gentle viewer. This is not the Garrett Wilson all over again. They're both the Ohio State guys, so it's a lot similar footage, but two different players. Used in virtually the same role on the same offense.
Big difference between the two is Chris Allave is better before the catch. He's better getting open.
Yeah,
He has
better route
higher-
runner.
Yeah. But he stinks after the catch. He offers
Correct.
absolutely nothing.
Right.
Averages, I think.
He's the anti-Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. Whereas Garrett Wilson, he is much better after the catch. Quite special after the catch, actually. So, with this in mind, though, does Michael Thomas stay to play with another Ohio State wide receiver?
Was that a question?
Yeah, are you looking for feedback there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still going to be Slotzilla over there. He's still going to get his slant routes. all right.
The Detroit Lions have traded up to pick 12.
Oh my God!
With
Oh,
the
oh
Vikings,
my
a
God.
trade in the division. Oh my!
Yep.
It's a new day. Well, we're
'cause they
going to
wanted
lose Jack
Wilson.
here again.
We are.
You-
Jack.
Jack's going to believe on us here real quick.
Once they make the pick, I will.
This is
believe
Pickett,
it.
right?
No, it's Malik Willis. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Pick.
Jack is sweating. Oh
Because
man!
if it's
Did you
Pickett,
hear
Jack's
that?
gonna throw up on
He
camera.
goes,
Yeah.
"Uh oh."
Because if it's Pickett, Jack will throw up on camera. Okay, I'm telling you. I know Jack well enough to know Jack is never going to be a Pickett guy because Jack has
No.
taste. Like
Jack has
Jack has taste. Like you're never. I might not agree with everything Jack says, but he's not going to be a Pickett guy. Like,
Kenny Pickett, his ceiling is Ryan Tannehill.
I was going to say his ceiling is Matt Hasselbeck.
Fine. Same
Yeah,
thing.
that's his ceiling. His ceiling is Matt Hasselbeck. Like,
They send pick 32, 34, and 66 to the Vikings for 12 and 46. Wow. Lions getting aggressive here.
they must really see something they want. It's got to be a cornerback.
I'm going to need to either have that come in an alert or you need to put that in the chat for me because I didn't catch any of that and I got to update my board over here.
The Lions get 12 and 46.
Okay, so they
They-
got 12. Where's 46? There's 46. Okay.
They send 32, 34, and 66.
32, 34.
And the Detroit Lions select another fantasy relevant player, Jameson Williams.
Interesting.
Okay.
The wide
wait, there's the
receiver
other-
one
I
going
wrote all that down
forward.
for nothing. All right, hold on.
All right.
All right.
I
All right, bye, Jack.
will be
Bye,
heading
Jack.
out.
We'll
Bye,
see you
guys.
soon.
Let me pull this up.
Goodbye, friends. Love you all. And that's better than it could have been.
Week 2,
Could have
Chargers versus
been
the Chiefs.
Brees Hall, and I
baby.
would have broken my computer.
It wouldn't have been Brees Hall.
I'm being facetious, Jack. Thank you for playing along with the joke. Thank you for playing
You
along.
got me. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
And just
There you
look
go.
at him. Look at how special he is, both before the catch and after. If it weren't for the ACL tear, he's
Yes.
the wide receiver one off the board.
Yes.
And Betters
So-
are steaming mad right now with his line being at about 12. And that
Yeah,
being
11
where he
and a half.
goes. Yep.
So this was the biggest thing for me with Jameson Williams. I talked about this with our dynasty guys as well when we were doing our prospect profiles here in the preseason leading up to the draft process. So Jameson Williams came in at wide receiver 9 for me, number 12 overall. The reason behind that is in my model and my methodology, you have to have at least 2 years of production on file in order for the numbers to actually play out. So when you just use his 2 years of data because of the injury history, this is where he comes in at 12 overall, wide receiver 9. If you just use the one full season that he played, he was far and away the wide receiver 1, the top prospect at wide receiver for me in this class. So he could have gone either direction here. It just depends on if he's healthy or not. And yeah, he's got to build the muscle. He's got to get back healthy off the ACL tear. But if he is healthy and if he's 100%, then he can be a dominant number 1 for them when we've already seen Amon-Ra St. Brown be a solidified number 2. They just needed someone else to go in that offense. And now Jared Goff has weapons again. What does that mean? Like, he's had weapons before. It doesn't really do much for him, but here we are.
Well, I'm sure Jack will bring it up when he gets back, but we talked about a team being interested in Jameson Williams that could wait a year effectively. And the Lions certainly fit this mold.
Fit that
I
bill,
think
yeah.
to your point, the Lions proved a point with Amon-Ra St. Brown, which was when they asked him to be the one, not really cut out to be the one, at least as a rookie. But when they added a little bit of help down the stretch, he blew up just not having to face the number 1 coverage. Well, when Jameson Williams is healthy, he'll deal with the number 1 coverage. So again, I said it before at the top with the first Lions selection of the night. They are slowly building a team I actually like, little by little, because with this patient approach and not needing to get something out of Jameson Williams right now, because you're going to be bad either way. Yeah, sure. Jared Goff will have weapons, right? You know, haha, that's the joke. But what's more compelling is whoever the Lions quarterback inevitably will become once life after Goff, that individual will have some interesting weapons at various points. They're slowly building a team that isn't god awful, and it's kind of fun to watch.
Slowly building a team that's not god awful is
It's a
very
glowing.
interesting.
It's a glowing review, Neil.
I'm a Bears fan. That's as nice as I'm allowed to contractually be about
You know
the
what?
Lions.
That is fair. I'll give
The
you
interesting thing about the pick also being Jameson Williams is 4 of the last 5 selections have been wide receiver. And when we look at the line of total wide receivers to go in line 1 in round 1, it's at about 6.5. So I ask you guys, when we look further down the board, we're already at 4 of those guys. Do you guys see 3 more wide receivers coming off the board, even to some of these teams? Or
Yeah,
do you see
100%.
them? Yep. Okay.
I mean, you have to assume Houston and maybe Washington.
Houston wants
Eagles.
1. Washington wants 1. The Eagles want 1. The Packers need 1 desperately. The Chiefs need 1 as well. That's
And Treylon
5
Burks
right
is
there.
still out there.
Any
That's
of those 5
one,
teams could
like-
absolutely be in the wide receiver market.
And I know nobody else cares, but week 2 on Amazon, Chiefs versus Chargers. I am
Yeah, I
so
just saw
pumped.
that alert as well. Welcoming in Mike Manning as well to the
Mike.
broadcast.
Hey,
how
Mike.
you doing?
How's it
Look at
going,
him all
guys?
dressed up.
Mike.
Yeah, I came
Coming
from the
back
red
from the draft.
carpet event, you know.
That's right. He's the
I like
most-
it, Mike.
He's the
wore
second
the
most
watch, too.
professional guy here. Remember, shop.importantnonsense.com.
Hashtag
Company
same
man.
oh,
Promo
so-
code draft22. Get that 10% off this
Hey,
weekend only.
can I get and tight end on the back of the abolish the kicker shirt? Can I
So
get
there
that
is an
special made?
abolish the tight end
Oh, beautiful.
specifically
There's-
for you.
Thank
So
you.
put
I
that
There's
on
appreciate
both.
the
you
already,
so
buddy.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I
check
love
it
it.
out. Shop.importantnonsense.com.
Shop.importantnonsense.com. Draft code draft22, by the way, everybody.
Steve, you should
still-
actually just put that on the little ticker,
Yeah.
the little
Yeah.
banner thing.
Oh
that
yeah,
we have.
just put that
That's
down
right.
there.
That way you don't have to
100%.
repeat it.
No, I like to repeat it. All right, that's going to
I'm
be
sure
the
we
running
can
gag
continue to
of this
repeat
whole
it, but you
thing.
should still. That doesn't negate my point. Continue to repeat it,
Sure,
but it should
sure,
also
sure.
be running on the bottom.
All right. So to my point earlier as well, Chris Allave, we kind of got sidetracked from 10.17. So he actually grades out higher than Garrett Wilson in the final grade here. He does get a boost because he's in an offense where he's going to be at least has an opportunity to be featured a little bit. But same neighborhood as Jalen Waddle from last year. And then, like I said, just ahead of Wilson,
Another
so
trade.
DK Metcalf.
Texans are out on 13. Eagles are coming in. Trading
Oh, my.
15, 124, 162, and 166.
Don't just rattle off numbers like I can remember any of that.
My bad.
I'm going to have to come back to it. And then Jameson Williams, like I said, because using my model, you have to have 2 years. He didn't have 2 full seasons, so it skews him a little bit. It drops him down into that Brandon Ayuk, Anthony Schwartz, Denzel Mims, Terrace Marshall territory. But if you just go by the 1 full year he had, he's near the upper part with A.J. Brown, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore.
Okay, this has to be Burks, though, right? This is why
Traded
the Eagles
13
are
for
moving up.
15 and then a whole lot of late picks. So they moved up a lot of late picks to move up 2 spots.
It's possible the Eagles did
But yes,
want
100%. This should
wideout.
be a wide receiver, I would think.
And speaking
Yeah,
of, oh, go ahead, Mike.
They had to have gotten scared on this run. This is terrifying. Like
yes.
75% of the league.
Oh yeah, this wide receiver run has caused a whole lot of issues. And actually, I just got an update here from the BR betting page. Drake had actually put in a fairly large bet.
Yeah, Drake
That
on Drake. I saw
Drake
that.
on Drake, so that Drake London would be the first wide receiver taken, which
Mhm.
netted him 335K. So Neil, I reinforced my point, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
All right,
Yes.
fair enough, man. Fair enough.
So you can expect me to put a huge bet on the next Manning being the first quarterback drafted whenever he comes out.
I mean,
Makes
what are the
sense.
odds going to be on that, though? I mean, you're
Right.
talking
I was
about
going to say
300.
1-1.
Yeah,
1 and
probably.
1. No one wants that bet.
Just got to do it for the family, you know.
And with that note, guys, that's been all the betting fun for me. It's
All
been
right.
a real great draft. I don't want to take up too much of the space here for when Jack gets back, so I'll take my big head out of here. It's been real, gents, and I'll be watching along with you guys. So,
All right, we appreciate
hold
you,
on.
Nation. Thanks for being here.
You'll be back. Tell them when you're back.
oh, that's actually right, guys. We did announce that we're going to be doing live coverage of day 3. You can come check out me and my guy Mike Manning down there, and we're going to be holding it down all day 3, all 4 hours. So come hang out with us, yell about who your team drafted, and all that good stuff. So looking forward to it.
The important rounds.
The important
Exactly.
rounds. That's right.
The
Exactly.
insanity rounds. That's
If
we
I'm
do
up,
this
I
week.
might join you. We'll see.
All right,
Let's
yeah.
do
I have
it.
to be physically awake, and that's
He has to
gonna be
get out of
difficult for me
bed
on a
to-
Jason,
Saturday
you
morning.
can come
the
on
problem.
any show that I ever put on without any notice. Don't even worry
Boy,
about
that
He'll do it.
is a
He'll
dangerous
do it from his
proposition.
bed, holding his phone.
Yeah.
Like,
It's an
don't,
open-
don't
What's up,
like.
guys?
Can't give him that leeway.
it. All right, boys. It's been real. Adios.
Take it easy,
See you,
Mason.
mates.
Yeah.
All right, so the Eagles moved up 2 spots with the Texans. None of this helps me here.
Sorry, man. And they're getting Jordan Davis. Georgia
Oh, they
defensive
wanted
tackle.
to jump Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I was expecting.
All right,
So-
let's go to the highlight package.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
No, no.
Look at that block.
Sorry, knee.
That would be a very
Uh,
small package, anyway.
Wow,
Oh.
wow.
Oh.
That's a good joke.
I mean, everybody was claiming that there was no chance Jordan Davis made it past Baltimore, so this makes sense if they wanted him.
Right.
Yeah, you had
I
to.
don't know if he really fits their scheme perfectly or not, but I guess they're going to bank on that athleticism taking over Fletcher Cox eventually.
I'm just
I think it
surprised
would
they went to
ex-
the Eagles, I guess.
I think it
That
would
was more
explain the
surprising to me.
weirdness of the back end of that trade too, where it's a bunch of like later stuff.
Well, they only moved up 2 spots.
Yeah, but it's also
So-
look. You're doing that to do this too. I think that's why they were willing to part with it. Where it's like, yeah, I'll move up 2 spots. You can have this stuff
Yeah.
that I kind of don't need,
Yeah,
but I want
like
to make
Mike
sure
is
I
saying,
get my
it's just
tackle.
to leapfrog Baltimore was really
Yeah.
the goal here, and they accomplished that. So
And you know, Houston's not against having more later picks.
for no reason, yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to build their entire team of veterans on 1-year deals that are like the veteran minimum, and 5th, 6th, 7th round picks.
Nico Collins.
Okay, 3rd and 4th too.
I know, that's why I'm making the joke. It's so true. 31-year-old Rex Burkhead, who might be 32 actually at the start of the season.
So now the Ravens are on the clock and feel shafted
Oh yeah.
because this is who they wanted.
So do they trade back?
No, I think they go cornerback.
Yeah, they still need something here.
So McDuffie. Who's
I'm
else is
guessing
available?
that's my initial guess is going to be McDuffie.
Well, that makes me sad. I was kind of wanting him to be a Charger, but that
You've
works, I
wanted
guess.
every cornerback to be a Charger.
I wanted my
True.
2 cornerbacks.
You can't
all
lie
right?
to
Give me a
Mike.
break.
He's been watching the whole time.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm not lying. All right. I wanted Sauce to fall. I didn't think it'd happen, but I wanted it to. And then I thought McDuffie actually had the chance to potentially get there. But now that Davis is off the board, that makes it a little tougher. So, oh, man, that means the Chargers are probably going to go tackle.
I mean,
I
if they
swear,
don't,
if they get pinning, I'm going to be pissed. You have no idea how mad I'm going to be if they end up with pinning.
If Jack ends up being right.
I will slap Jack for that nonsense. Oh God, throwing that into the universe.
I was gonna say Jack's gonna have to. Jason's gonna have to like get a ticket, get plane tickets, go through customs, fly to Canada, find Jack.
I can drive through
Slap
and be just fine. That's like an 12-hour drive. I will be there, causing havoc.
Slap Jack. Jack beats the crap out of him, and Jason gets canceled in the process for slapping someone.
former
On live screen. I guess I could do it tomorrow during the stream. I could be there, make it just in time, plan it out, and just whack him right across the face as you guys start.
leave tonight after the first round's over and be like, all right, it's on.
I'm gonna make it.
I mean, you might have to worry. He's a former defensive lineman in high school, so
Yeah, but it's defensive lineman in Canada. That's
yeah.
how much of a handicap is that?
I'm more happy that in theory we're not getting a wide receiver. That is more. I'm more happy
There's
about
not many
that.
left anymore.
Well, they can
it's
still
a
get
deep
burned.
class. There's still plenty of good ones. My favorite wide receiver in this class still on the board.
Yeah, which I'm
Who's that?
assuming is going to go to Houston now, right?
Well,
Or-
my number one guy is Treylon Burks, but
Yeah, so it'd be go to
my
Houston.
favorite
I was gonna
guy,
say you said it differently.
yes,
Oh,
my favorite guy in this class. You
It's my
always
guy?
want some action, okay? And you
Oh,
know
yeah.
me, I can't help but love a wide receiver named Moore. Okay, my love affair with Rondale is well documented. I'm all on board with Sky.
More. Let's
More,
get some
more.
more.
That's right.
I love
That-
Sky
that-
Moore, so I mean,
that's who I'm most excited about in this class. So I'm really
Really,
curious where
it's.
he ends up.
I had to go adjust my. The sun has gone down here. I had to go readjust everything real quick, so I'm not sitting in the dark talking to you guys. But you're all in on Sky. Sky is your guy.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
he's my fave.
Can I
He's my
ask why?
Rashad Bateman.
How many more of
this
these do I
class.
have? Do you think after why?
How many more of what?
I'm saying no one gets the joke. I wish Jack was here. I kept rhyming things with Sky. I had like
Oh, yeah,
4
okay.
in a row.
There you go.
But what is the rationale?
For Sky Moore?
besides that,
His-
he's a action guy.
His
Western Michigan.
athleticism is through the roof. He had a young breakout age. He's used all over the field and was able to produce. Again, granted, against the MAC, lower competition, but still at the same time, lower QB play. So
That's true.
bad
That is
QB,
true.
good numbers, good athleticism. I think put in the right situation with the right QB, he can thrive.
So you're hoping he falls to the Packers?
He's
No,
another guy where
well-
he's going to take time to develop. So again,
Oh, no.
if for some reason he goes at the end of the draft or end of the first round here tonight and he ends up in Kansas City, I'm all in. But we'll see. And yes, if he does end up with the Packers, then he's probably a surefire guy. But at this point, I still think there's a lot of smoke with the Treylon Burks fire to the Packers if he can get that far down.
Safe prospect.
See-
and safety Kyle Hamilton
Well,
for
what
the
I was going to
Ravens.
say to you, Steve, is this is the you got to stay of execution here because what
Mhm.
would have happened is that he absolutely would have been a Raider. 1,000% would have been a Raider in the first round. It absolutely would have happened. It would have been, but they don't have a pick.
He's not the fastest guy in the draft. Though.
But technically correct. But from watching the tape, he would have been a Raider. They would have put him on the Raiders and just be like, just run down there with your hand up.
Yeah.
Like, that's the Raiders.
But did you guys hear that or no?
No.
So, was that loud enough?
Kyle
Okay.
Hamilton.
Kyle
for the
Ham-
Ravens.
yeah.
Which I hate because I do like Kyle Hamilton, and the Ravens seem to be really good at picking draft picks in the first round.
Mike, you got to just accept that the Ravens are a quality run organization. I don't much care for them either, but
Yeah.
they make a lot of really good choices year on year.
Cannot argue that in any way.
I have a begrudging respect for them at this point, where it's like I'm not a huge fan of the way they comport themselves, but I got to tip my cap because they make a lot of smart choices, like a lot of good ones.
Sucks, but it's true.
Yeah, it would be easier if everybody was stupid.
I mean,
Yeah, for
It
real.
would be easier to win if everybody was Jacksonville. It would be a lot easier to win.
Yeah, it's a lot better than playing, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow 6 out of the games every single year.
You're not going to get any sympathy from anybody here about this. I hate to tell you, it's not going to happen. Steve and I have had our hearts and souls crushed by Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre for most of our lives.
far
We're
too
really
long. Yeah.
not really sympathetic to this conversation. And you got the Ditka jersey in the background.
Yeah, I had to bring out the first round pick that I have, which is Mike Ditka. And I figured the Bears aren't going to be talked about at all today, so might as well give them a little bit of love.
Yeah, no.
Hey, we'll find a way to work it in. Don't worry about it.
We already have several times.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah. Like right now, for example.
There you go.
Well, Mike, since you're here, and I know we talked about how much you're repping those Steelers. Who are you hoping that the Steelers can kind of snake into at 20?
I mean, Malik Willis.
Right.
It's either Malik Willis or don't go quarterback. That's for sure.
Okay. This has been an anti-Pickett stream. I assume you're on that.
I went to Pitt. I love Pickett. I just don't want the Steelers to pick Pickett.
Okay.
I just don't think he has the ceiling.
Love him just as a
that is
friend.
worth.
Right, as a friend,
Platonically.
If he wants to go out and have a beer when he comes back to Pittsburgh, that'd be great. Yeah, sure.
Right.
The first round will be on me.
But you're not hoping for one of these like hometown kid.
I'll root for it if they do it, but that's also going to be at least 30% because I have to.
I think in Pittsburgh, as the hometown kid, he's more likely to get booed, right? I think it's
Oh no, absolutely.
You're one of us. Why do you suck?
I mean, there's a mix of Pitt and
Get
Penn
out your
State.
batteries. Wait, that's
So-
Philadelphia. Sorry.
No, they throw Yinglings in.
Yinglings.
in
Sorry.
Pitt, yeah.
Yes.
No, we wouldn't waste beer like that.
That's true. That's true.
It's ridiculous.
Empty
They throw
bottles,
empty
Mike.
Yingling
Empty.
cans.
They got to be empty.
Yes.
They'll be empty.
Okay.
It's also Pittsburgh. It'll be empty. It would be.
What is this? Shatterproof? Boo.
If they can get cans, it'll be icy.
Have you tried to break a bottle of beer? It's not as easy as it looks, okay? You really have to take a whack at it.
I mean,
Yeah, they've
I
gone
never
more
really
and
had a
more
reason to.
shatterproof.
I am more of a can guy.
Jason gets into a lot of bar fights.
Yeah,
So
oh,
he's
yeah.
just- In the
Well, he's talking about
1960s.
picking a fight with Jack, and I'm like, Jack would power bomb through a table.
Jack
to the
is a
devil.
way enough to power bomb you. He might be taller, but I got him.
Oh, I thought it was gonna like keep going. He might be taller, he might be stronger, might be faster.
Might
Yeah.
be
But-
brass
I don't
electric.
know. I don't know
What?
what Jack lifts. That would be.
He might be more handsome, shopped at important nonsense.
I can't
Just for that, I'm
wait.
going to buy my own
there's
shirt.
also
I'm
a
gonna wear it every
nerd
stream.
shirt on there as
It's
well.
still
if you
not
wanna
running
get a
on the
nerd
bottom
shirt.
tick.
Woo! So
Hey,
where are we
hey,
at?
enjoy
Where are
it,
we at
okay?
in the draft? Because we just got another trade up from the Eagles.
Again?
Really?
Yeah,
A
From 14?
second.
We just
moved
did
up 3
14.
spots
So
again.
did they jump up to 15?
They did.
They came back again.
did they trade twice with Houston?
Yep.
They did.
That's confusing.
Yeah. That's a...
Nick Casario, insider trading.
Yeah. So Jordan Davis, and then we got Kyle Hamilton to the Ravens.
That's what we were
Yeah.
just talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Or it's just Howie Roseman knows who to
Why
fleece.
is... I ain't surprised
That's
at
that's a
all.
good skill to have. That's a viable life skill, my friend. I'm not hating on that. Like,
Who can I trade up with? and
know
make
who's
this
a
thing
pigeon
easy?
and who's not. Like,
Probably another just like 6th and 7th round pick, and that's it.
I don't know.
Apparently, they didn't trade up with the Texans. They traded up with someone else.
Washington.
Washington?
Oh,
The Chargers.
Yeah. So the Texans have selected. Oh, they have selected offensive lineman from Texas A&M, Kenyon Green.
That's odd.
I mean, it's not that odd. They
had a need everywhere, so it
Yeah.
could have gone anyway. But an offensive guard, albeit it's a very solid one, certainly. That's just I wouldn't have guessed it.
So they're actually looking to try and protect Davis Mills. What's going on here?
So that was my number 5 guard on the board.
That's why I was saying it seems a little early.
Yeah. It's deep.
This
I think
seems a touch early.
It was a 50-50 shot he was staying in the first round, and it was more the interior offensive line needy teams at the end of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tampa Bay and guys like teams like that.
Do they really need an offensive line?
They just lost Marpet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the guy that filled in for him last year didn't exactly look so hot.
Aaron Stinney, no, they absolutely need an upgrade on the left guard position there. But Kenyon Green, he was talked heavily to go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
So
24 and on.
Yeah.
The final 8 picks. There was him. There was
this feels
we
this
already
feels
know.
like a reach.
The
boy.
Ravens have traded wide receiver Hollywood Brown to Arizona Cardinals.
Oh
Oh, baby.
Wow.
I spit out my
my.
drink.
For what?
Oh my!
I would imagine their first plus
23rd? Their 23rd pick?
Boys, it's Rashad Bateman season. Let's go.
It really is.
Finally happened.
All it took was less than a year.
Yeah, it only took a year.
All the blood has left Steve's brain.
Yeah,
It's all gone.
it's happened a couple
Thank
times.
God the camera cuts off at the waist. Thank God for that. There is a God that the camera doesn't extend below waistline. Because I don't need to see it. I don't need to know.
He's not wearing pants. It'd be embarrassing.
I've never been wearing.
You're wearing
This is-
pants?
It's a full Winnie the Pooh stream over here. Okay.
I got to be on camera for 4 hours. I'm not wearing pants. Professional news anchors don't wear pants.
What?
Oh God, this is the greatest day of my life.
I always wear slacks when I'm in here. What are you talking about?
So what? It's your kid's being born. Well, it's this. Then your kid's being born.
The marriage because I got the kids.
kids.
Then
Okay,
the kids
sure.
being born.
Yeah.
Then the
But this
rest
has
just
firmly
doesn't matter.
supplanted
But
all of that.
this
Outkicked
is it
that
right
by a
here.
good margin. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, immediate reaction
Ew.
is, obviously it's a Bateman huge bump. Andrews big bump. I'd say Hollywood Brown major drop compared to what he had.
Well,
He was the focal. He was the first look for Lamar Jackson.
they discovered. Well, you saw how well Christian Kirk did last year. I would say
Yeah,
Brown's better
but
than Kirk.
exactly.
they had
Christian Kirk
DeAndre
was a wide
Hopkins
receiver
down for
3.
half the season.
Yeah, I think
Like-
that
Well, see, that's my primary concern now. So the Cardinals just traded to get Hollywood. So now you brought back AJ Green already.
Mhm.
You still had Hopkins. You
Ertz.
had my guy Rondale Moore.
Oh yeah.
You had Zach Ertz. So where does this land? So does this just mean that
He comes
is
in for
AJ
Kirk.
Green the odd guy out? Like,
I think Green's at
does
if he makes
Hollywood
the
now
roster,
move into the slot and then Rondale is once again relegated to nothing?
Hollywood
It's
stays
possible.
outside, I'd say, and then Rondale stays in the slot, mixed in with Ertz
What
in the
about
slot.
AJ Green now?
Well, I think
Green's
AJ Green's your
swept away.
insurance policy that
Yeah.
if you have him for 1 year for $1 in case something happens.
I mean, do
And
we know what
then-
his contract is even?
I thought it was
Okay.
1
1 year
year.
deal.
It was like 1 year, 5 million or something.
So
Yeah, like
Cardinals
incentive
traded
based.
their first round and the Ravens gave Brown and their 100th pick.
So that's a third rounder.
Okay.
And the
That
Not
seems
bad.
pretty expensive for Hollywood.
with
really,
the 16th overall pick, the Washington Commanders make a fantasy relevant pick with Jahan Dotson from
Jahan
Penn
Dotson?
State.
All right, there you go.
okay.
Yeah, a lot of people high on Dotson from Penn State, so that's not super surprising.
That's surprising
Price-
that it's
it's
this early.
considering-
He goes that high. Yeah, that's a lot higher than he was projected.
Okay, what happened with Burks? I figured that would for sure would be his.
The NFL doesn't love Burks after he was
Yeah.
a bit slower and
he looked a heavy.
Yeah, that's a
whatever
strength
his
and
weight
conditioning
is.
coach, dude. You get fat after a year of being able to drink and be ready for the draft. I don't know. What the
I mean,
hell
I went to
wrong
college. I know what happens with the freshman 15 and so on.
It's you also realize you're going to get paid and you don't have to do anything for it.
we
you
do have
can
to
kinda relax.
remember Kyler Murray did play with Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
At Oklahoma.
I wasn't sure if they overlapped or not. Is this trying to, make it?
Man, he went over Burks and more. Man, what the? Okay, I get it with Tyler Lockett as his comp, but man, that's just.
I mean, he was the prime slot candidate
Mhm.
in this draft. Great hands.
Well, like I said, I had him as my wide receiver 8. He's in that Mod Podge of guys that I feel like will end up in this first round of rookie drafts. ECR, he was the wide receiver 7, 10 overall. We didn't actually differ that much there. But yeah, the skill, athleticism, led the team in a lot of different areas. I don't like how late he broke out. But other than that, I mean, like I said, Dotson's just another one of these guys. There's a whole bunch of them in this draft that are all kind of clustered together, and it's all just going to depend on wherever you land.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
landing
His
spot for
quarterback
him
play
being the
was
second
abysmal.
fiddle.
To McLaurin.
Yeah.
Golly.
But you got Carson Wentz throwing you the ball, so I
Right.
don't know if
I was
his
gonna
quarterback play got better.
Carson Wentz, was able to keep one receiver relevant last year at a time.
What was his
that was
combine
it.
time for Dotson?
He was
Maybe they're
4'4",
looking for another
something.
speed guy. They got tired of Sims.
He was a 4.4.
This was pick 16, correct?
Yep.
That
But
means
they
my boys
thought-
are up.
They thought he was going to be run faster, I think.
All right.
They thought he was going to run faster, but he's still like a 4.44.
Dotson,
Yeah.
4.43, 40,
Yeah.
Mhm.
7.28 cone. So he's all right.
That's not
I mean,
horrible.
Nothing that jumps off the page. And then, like I said, 9.58 is his official post-draft score for me. So when you put that comparatively towards everybody else, that
He's
puts
5'11".
him right between Tylan Wallace and Terrace Marshall from last year. It actually puts him ahead of the 1 year of Jameson Williams, but I'm going to discount that. Same territory as like DK Metcalf, just behind Allave and Wilson. So
5'11". That's just God.
He's
A
small.
lot of small
yeah.
ones. Yeah, that's
I mean, I
But-
think that's what it is. I think they want to, you keep Terry outside. Obviously, Scary Terry has his job. That doesn't change. They seem dead set on the idea that they're going to give De'Ami Brown one more bite at the apple and give him another shot.
And if Curtis Samuel
well,
gets back
and
on
here's
the
what I'm
field.
curious about too
Yeah.
now.
and
So
Logan Thomas. I mean, that's
the Cardinals just traded away that 23 pick to get Hollywood. Before we get too sidetracked from that, by them doing that, it puts the Ravens right back into this first round in this mix of wide receivers that are still on the board, including guys like Burks. So do they replace Hollywood
Ooh.
immediately with a wide receiver? And they're a spot ahead of the Cowboys, who, again, that's full Jerry Jones to go with the Arkansas wide receiver. I mean, come
It
on.
would be.
Yeah.
It would be
Yeah, it
100%
really
a
would be.
Jerry Jones move. It doesn't put them ahead of the
Pack.
Packers, who I think would actually be the most logical spot for Burks to land. But if for whatever reason he got past that, 100% he could end up going at 23 to the Ravens.
It'll depend on if they want to add somebody that can stretch downfield or not.
Well, also something to consider too here. There have been a lot of question marks about J.K. Dobbins and his health and availability, and they've been flirting with Melvin Gordon all offseason, and he just re-signed in Denver. Is 23 a spot where they go Breece Hall?
Oh,
God,
yeah.
It would be late enough to
God.
actually do it, but that would be an interesting one because it would be like a death blow to J.K. Dobbins, basically, like long-term fantasy value for dynasty.
Like,
things like
everything
that.
they
Like,
have been telling us is that they don't believe in J.K. Dobbins staying healthy. Like they're looking for anybody else to try.
As
to
I
come
pointed
in
out
there
to
and
Mike
be a
before, they
number
tend
two.
to be right about these things. Unlike other teams, the Ravens tend to know. and
But then replacing him with a first round. And the Chargers select offensive lineman Zion Johnson.
Thank God. I swear, if it would have been pinning, I would have been pissed. You missed that part of that, Jack. I would have been so mad at you. You have no idea. Okay, that makes sense.
As if you blamed him for putting it in the universe.
Yes,
100%.
100%.
Because nobody else ever mocks an offensive tackle to the Chargers.
Well, it makes sense.
It wasn't the most common pick.
Yeah, I just didn't like pinning to the Chargers because it seemed too realistic and it made me nervous.
See, it was too real, man.
Yeah.
Too real.
The fear became very real in my heart, and that's all that matters.
Don't you scare me with logic.
Yeah, forget that nonsense. Okay, that makes me feel so much better.
Wow. Lamar Jackson retweets a fan account. What the effing F typed out for real? Bro, exclamation point.
Well,
We
maybe they
traded
didn't
away
tell him.
Hollywood. Heartbroke.
Maybe they didn't tell him.
Whoa. Blockbuster. Titans are planning to trade A.J. Brown to the
my.
Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Baby.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
For 18?
I'd
And
imagine.
it has to be more than just 18.
Yep, they're doing it. They're doing
Yeah, it's
it.
got to be more than 18.
Yeah, they've been.
Yep.
Again, we talked
It's
about this
18
in
and
the
Jalen Reagor.
Discord.
Then that's it.
Oh, yep, there it is. I just got the alert. All right, hold on.
Adam Schefter is the one who got it.
It might just be a straight swap with Jalen Reagor.
No, stop that nonsense.
I like your style, Mike.
Look,
I like your style.
of all the things we've been pushing tonight, somehow I keep forgetting patreon.com/important nonsense. You can join our Discord, get in all this information. I brought this up last week that we're talking about the Deebo Samuel drama and everything that he's going through with the 49ers, but A.J. Brown, also in a contract year, has been at a stalemate with the Titans. It was something to keep an eye on because they apparently had been going back and forth about an extension. They weren't willing to pay him more than they thought he was worth. He thought he could get more on the open market. There was a lot of feeling that this was going to be his last year with the Titans. And here we are now in a situation where he's going to Philadelphia. They wanted a true alpha. They've got it for Hurts. So
that offense looks good now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. All right. It looks
I
fine.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
they got
A.J.
some-
Brown can make Jalen
with
Hurts
Devonta
look
Smith
good.
being
A.J.
your number
Brown is a
2,
really good
I
player.
think they look amazing right now.
And he's a great yak receiver, which is
Yeah.
what would be great
Pick
for Jalen Hurts.
18 and 101. So
Okay.
That's
a
actually
third
not as
rounder
much as I
That's
thought.
to get
That's not
A.J.
terrible.
All right.
I
But
thought that
again,
would
mean,
be
he
more
was in
than
a
to pay him.
contract year. They're going to have to spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
So that's also being factored into it here, clearly. But yeah, so the Titans now on the clock at 18 and Treylon Burks sitting there.
Yeah.
And
Easy.
suddenly they have a need at wide receiver. So
Yeah.
very interesting.
I mean, we knew that this draft was going to be an interesting
Well,
one, but this is getting.
What's
a bit
funny
out of
is one of the common comps for Treylon Burks is A.J. Brown. So I could see the Titans just saying, sure, we'll just do this. Like I know what the thought process was for A.J. Brown. They reportedly they offered him $20 million per year. He wants something more than that. And they're saying, no, we're not going to give. He wants like 25-ish or something like that.
He wants to be in the conversation with Adams and
yeah,
Hill
he
as
wants
the
to get
highest
paid like
paid wide
that,
receiver.
and he thinks he can. And
And I
the
don't think
issue
he's
is,
wrong.
I think he's probably right after the Christian Kirk deal, because I think the Christian Kirk deal is what drives the wedge into a lot of this. Like that Christian Kirk deal happens, and then I think a lot of these guys that know they're better than Christian Kirk look up and go, Where's my ridiculous paycheck? I think
By
it
the way,
threw gasoline on a lot of these negotiations that were happening.
But you have to go to a really bad team to make that much money.
I know, but I don't know that that's necessarily going to come through in the wash when you're actually
that's not-
negotiating with people.
That's not going to be the agent talk.
And this,
Yeah, exactly.
so far, for what this offseason has been, by the way, this is the most 2022 draft you could possibly have. This makes a whole
just
lot
trades.
of sense
Just
for what
trades.
just nonstop trades.
Jacksonville falls on its
Chaos.
face right out of the gate.
Of course.
And then everything just is a cluster because of it right behind it.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it's just
So Hurts really wanted him. They were just spotted practicing last week.
They were. I just
funny.
saw that. Wow, I am just
Blown away by that one, huh, Jack?
yeah. That is
That's-
a big one.
that's a big deal.
That is.
I mean,
That's-
Yeah, they save a lot of money.
they
You get
want
the same player right now.
Well, that's one school of thought, but it's also I'm thinking about the Eagles. The Eagles suddenly just became a lot more of a real football team. My distaste
lot
for
more
Miles Sanders
interesting.
aside.
I was about to say, you
My
still have
distaste
Miles
for Miles
Sanders. Do they
Sanders
have another
aside,
running
I
back
don't
that they
care.
use?
Outside of running back, they are really solid
Yeah.
on
Oh,
offense.
hey,
They're
Kenny
interesting.
Gainwell, sir.
They don't give Kenny Gainwell the ball. If they
Yeah,
gave
you
him
have
the
to
ball,
actually
then
touch
I'd
the
agree
field
with
to
you.
be
They're
able to
still
hold
gonna
the ball.
put Boston Scott out there, which is fine, I guess, but like it's not ideal. Not ideal here.
All right. But after that gigantic news, it is the top of the hour, boys. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right
Good, I need one.
Yeah. After that bombshell, I need.
My brain hurts.
Oh my God.
Hayden, we love fantasy football. We do. It's a fantastic game, yet still not perfect. Like, I hate leaving high-scoring players on my bench. The worst. In fact, hate it even more when I put injured players and they're in my starting lineup. Can't have that. And I need a life. The waivers, the trades, every single week, it grinds on me. So we at Underdog Fantasy want to make fantasy football easier for everyone out there. It's called Best Ball, and we set your optimal lineup for you each and every week.
Now, 3 tips on how to win. Number 1, do not overcommit to a position. You drafted a quarterback early, chill out, wait a bit later to get your second. Number 2, stack your team. You drafted a wide receiver early, maybe get his quarterback a couple rounds later.
Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen.
And most importantly, get those rookies in. Jamar Chase last year, a
Stud.
6th round pick. 2 years ago, Justin Herbert. Ever heard of that guy?
Breakout!
Last round pick. Get those guys in. That's how you win big.
Yes, and you can do it all year long. We have drafts going all the way from February to week 1 of the NFL season. What are you waiting for? Get a little extra something on that first deposit and that first time you play on Underdog Fantasy. This is Bandit. He founded Underdog Fantasy so that humans who really love sports could play with their friends and win some big prizes. Tell your human to go to UnderdogFantasy.com today.
touchdown catches as you see a little subtle push there. Here's a double move, the separation that exists, track the ball easy, and then down the field, catch ready, go up and get it. This is going to be an interesting.
Hey, Jordan. Oh, okay. They're correcting that right now.
Might help if I was actually unmuted.
Like, I have it on, but I have the sound off.
Yeah.
So I'm following along with it. But, well, we
it
are
doesn't even
live.
matter.
So
We're
welcome
far
back
ahead.
to the Important Nonsense Draft Party. Let's not do this behind-the-scenes show on the show, by the way. So we'll get into it here in a moment. But when we took right before a commercial break here, right at the halfway point, blockbuster deal. The Titans go ahead and trade A.J. Brown to the Eagles, move back one spot and net themselves a third-round pick. And then the pick is now in. They did what we talked about right before the break. They selected Treylon Burks, who many people view as the younger A.J. Brown, effectively. He has that type of ceiling.
He's
So
a little taller too, which helps.
He is a little taller. Now, I am a known A.J. Brown fan and A.J. Brown apologist. I've been on this bandwagon from jump. And I'm curious. If I'm someone in a dynasty league who's rostering Jalen Hurts, I'm thrilled. If I'm someone who's rostering AJ Brown, I'm probably okay. I'm relatively happy about this, right? But what if the one person I feel bad for in this equation is those of you who were in on Devonta Smith for your dynasty team last season.
Correct.
There's two schools of thought though. I think you've lost out on him possibly being the alpha, but he struggled last year. So with adding A.J. Brown and him theoretically moving to the other side of the field, in a weird way, do you think that could actually help him? That's the question I have.
Because, I mean, you look at, Juju Smith-Schuster's best season came when Antonio Brown was opposite him. So a wide receiver can easily, that is more of a...
There are a lot of comps to this. We saw it with Amon-Ra St. Brown last year. When they stopped asking him to be the one, he blew up.
Mm-hmm.
There are guys in this league who will make a lot of hay. I've seen Tyler Boyd do it at various points, and I shouldn't say that. Marvin Harrison is probably a better one. Or not Marvin Harrison, excuse me.
You
Marvin
guys see
Jones.
what they paid him?
Marvin Jones is a good comp for that.
He got a 4-year, $100 million extension.
$57 million guaranteed.
Okay.
That's some cash.
And that's the contract he wanted,
That's
right?
some walking around
All
money.
reports were that the Titans wouldn't give him more than the $20 million.
Yep.
So, I mean,
he got more than $20 million. He got what he wanted.
$20 million.
So
exactly what he wanted.
And I think in the market right
good
now,
for
that's
him.
not crazy.
Yeah.
It's comparable to all the other top tier guys.
But yeah, Steve, we were just kind of, as everybody files back in, we should probably tee up the fact that we've had a line change here, to use the technical term.
Jordan, welcome in, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Neil, you talked about the Eagles and like dynasty, how this relates. I just adopted a fantasy or a dynasty team that has Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and now AJ Brown. So I'm gonna have to be all in on Jalen Hurts this year, whether I like it or not.
Full Eagles, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my!
Nothing like having every pass catching option on a run first offense.
So you, my friend, I think are going to want to, with rookie drafts coming up next week. I think you might want to do some shopping. I think you might need to get on the old email sticks.
There it
and,
is.
I'm already trying to trade up for the second pick because I need a running back. So I mean, now I got a little
Trevor
bit
Penning
of
to the Saints, guys. Number 19.
Are you a little upset he wasn't going to the Chargers?
No, not at all. Thank God he's gone.
Oh, also, I want to say something. I am all in favor of us agreeing to change Jason's name to Jason Sauce-Draven.
Jason Sauce-Draven.
I think
I
that's
love
amazing.
That works out great for me.
Do that. You're not that FF nerd anymore.
I'm really happy as somebody who cheers for team in the AFC South, how this draft's going.
Oh, sure. Well, this was the other conversation.
Rid of AJ Brown, but brought in Treylon Burks.
Like, that's a smart move. Like, don't get me wrong, but apparently I just saw on Twitter that Jeffrey Simmons and Taylor Lewan are like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, they're not happy about it.
No, I'm sure they're not.
Nobody has been happy.
Well, I wanted to bring this up to Steve. I was waiting for the opportunity, but where I wanted to go was, I know you're going to feed it into your model at some point, but I'll be interested to see how your model compares with where it compared with AJ Brown coming in, because I think this is one of the more relevant ones for fantasy. Is now with Treylon Burks coming in to theoretically try and be the new AJ Brown.
Yeah.
We've kind of seen what that job is. It's a pretty effective job. Like, it's a good
Well, like
job
I said,
if you
like
do it.
And again, they got this offseason, they cut Julio Jones.
Yep.
Right. They let Anthony Ferkshire walk.
Good for them.
And they just traded AJ Brown. So they have completely turned over the receiving core in Tennessee.
Still Tannehill.
It's Tannehill, it's King Henry coming back off the leg injury, and it's Treylon Burks and the Pips, because it's nobody else that you're really interested in.
So my question
you got
is,
Robert Woods, who's now the solidified 2 to Burks, but again, he's coming off an injury on his own. He's also getting older, and he's up there. But yeah, to answer your question, in the last, what is this? Just dating from, and I can go further back too, just to take a look at it. But from 2019 through now, so the last 4 drafts, the number 1 rated wide receiver was CeeDee Lamb with a 12.48. Treylon Burks right now, number 2 with a 12.34.
Okay.
So again, athletically, analytically, he tests completely out of the water. He blows all the numbers out here that you would want Treylon Burks. He was my number 1 wide receiver coming in. He's going to remain my number 1 wide receiver. This doesn't change any of that for me.
Well, it actually gets better for you because now he is clearly the guy, and it's going
solidified.
to be, yeah, it's going to be amazing. The opportunity is all there, and that's with him especially what you wanted.
I was going to say, he just shot up my board because of the job that he's about to walk into now and inherit of being a proven thing.
QB off the board. Kenny Pickett, local kid, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. Oh no!
I mean, there it was, the Jordan, the full Michael Jordan shoulder shrug. That's the official reaction. That's
the reaction. I mean,
somebody clip it right there.
I thought it was going to be more crying Jordan.
The crying
Jordan meme.
I'm not like upset. I do believe they should have taken a quarterback this year. I thought it should have been Malik Willis, but because his upside is just so.
Your body language really betrays the "I am not upset" statement.
Yeah,
like,
I'm calling complete BS.
Punched over.
Luckily, the terrible towels are hidden behind the Mike Ditka jersey.
I'm sorry, buddy. The
Hey,
good
you can
news,
be a Tigers fan.
Kenny Pickett, sneaky athlete, very accurate, most pro-ready quarterback in this class. There's a lot to like with Kenny Pickett. He's got that swag factor.
Yeah, ignore the small hands, and then everything else is great.
I mean, everybody in Pittsburgh definitely measured their hands after all the Kenny Pickett hullabaloo.
Well, Mike, would you like to explain why the hands are deceiving?
Because of his gloves?
I thought you were the one telling me that his hands, he's double jointed, and so
that is the MO. Like, that's what the story that goes around is that his thumb is double jointed. So he said that, like, if he was to actually grip the football, it does it perfectly fine. But if you wanted him to, like, palm his hand completely flat, then his thumb doesn't go right. His thumb, like, kicks in. So it makes his hand look smaller. Because when you measure a hand, the hands, they go from the tip of the thumb when it's spread out all the way to the tip of the pinky. And his thumb kicks in whenever he opens his palm or something.
So who starts week 1?
Trubisky. But
for good reason.
I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibilities that Pickett is starting in 2022.
We've all seen Mitch Trubisky play football, Mike. We understand.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm very much interested in Claypool at this point.
I think it's better for Deontay than it is Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at an accurate guy who's going to be able to, like, in theory, sharp shoot some of those routes that Deontay likes to run.
Pickett's favorite target was Jordan Addison, who is much more comparable to Deontay Johnson than there was a wide receiver on Pitt, Mack, who was a very good, contested catch type receiver down the sideline. And he would throw him the occasional YOLO ball each game, but it's not going to be anywhere near the frequency. And I know that there's different talent levels, obviously, with Addison and Mac, but I do think this is a good thing for Deontay Johnson. He makes a living in the middle of the field, short to intermediate, and is able to take the top off when he needs to. So this is a good thing for him. I think it's a good thing for Freiermuth. Najee doesn't change a whole lot.
Right.
So
I'm so excited for Pat. You have
There you
no
go.
idea. That
So
was the
this
more
is-
important part of this.
So this is the first chance I get to talk about my QB model that I've worked on for the last 2 years. There are 4 grading levels in the QB model. You've got Sure Thing, which is a 16 or higher. Coin Flip, a 14 to a 16 rating. Below Average, a 12 to 14. And then Long Shot is anything below a 12. And just the reason behind that, anyone that's graded 16 or higher has had at least 2 top 12 seasons in the history of the model. Coin Flip, 8 of the 16 that have graded out with a 14 to 16 on my scale have had 2 or more top 12 seasons. And then Below Average, they have about a 38% chance of 1 top 12 season, a 30% chance of 2 top 12 seasons. And anyone lower than 12, the long shot category, 40 quarterbacks have been in that area. Only 2 of them have had a top 12 season. So Kenny Pickett, on my scale, based on the numbers that he put up in college and then where he's been drafted right now, gets a 12.77. So lands in the below average category. So basically giving him about a 30 to 40% chance to have a top 12 season at some point in his career. And it puts him right in the same category as Drew Lock, Jordan Love, Kellen Mond. Those are the guys closest to him over the last 5 years.
Gross. Who were the 2 guys that were off the page entirely that actually had top 12 seasons? That was the more interesting nugget that I want.
The long shot guys.
You had 2 guys. There were 2 guys who tested all the way in the bottom that actually
So-
managed to get. Who were they?
A draft capital plays a huge role into it. So I would have to double check the numbers. I knew you would ask me this and I don't have it offhand. I'm pretty sure it's Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott
Okay, that would actually make sense.
because they were
that's
drafted
fine.
outside of the first 2 rounds.
I got you. My
and ended up
curiosity
in the
would be
top
that would make sense.
12, but I
Yeah.
can double check.
Because Dak was like a 3rd round pick or whatever, like
I think Dak
He's
was
a
a 4th
Dak was a
rounder.
4th.
4th
And
round.
then Russell Wilson was a 3rd rounder.
3rd. Yeah.
So let's see.
I'm just wondering, just so we're still talking about quarterbacks, where do you guys think Malik Willis goes now? Because I thought this
Well,
is
The Patriots just traded back, so
Okay.
who's coming up.
Okay.
that's what I'm
Okay.
waiting for.
Here we go.
because initially I would have guessed Detroit would have been able to.
Yeah, I thought that was Malik
Oh
Willis.
no, they
I was-
got rid of both of their early picks, the 30.
that
pick.
was a large leap for a wide receiver. And don't get me wrong, Jameson Williams is fantastic, and I'm sure he will be, but that's a lot for a
Still
wide receiver.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
Very
again,
The wide
Ho-
receiver market in general, both in the
Hollywood,
draft.
by the way, just an update on that. He was traded, of course, to the Cardinals, like we talked about. He was on the last year of his rookie deal. This is his 4th year in the league, and the Cardinals are picking up his 5th year option.
Of
Sure.
course.
Sure. Okay.
They're not
I mean-
extending him. They traded a 1st round pick to not extend him, but give
Yeah.
him his 5th year option for next year. So they've got 2 years of Hollywood Brown at a reasonable price.
which is a great move by the Ravens to essentially
Kansas City has moved up.
Okay.
Okay.
they're going wide receiver.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
Going for Malik.
Not Scott.
Going for Malik.
I
Do
mean,
it.
Tennessee's the
Patriots
only one I really see
Do
on
it.
the league.
Go for Malik.
Burn it all down.
Burn it down. Trade Mahomes. Get it all back. It'd be the greatest chess move. Like it's literally playing chicken with everything you hold dear.
Also,
I wonder
we did
if,
miss
Or they pick
Trevor.
up another running back. And here goes
God.
Brees.
Here comes Brees. Yeah, here comes
Oh,
Brees.
God.
Brees.
But that'd actually be okay, though.
upset.
All the
I would actually be okay with that.
All the CEH people's heads would explode.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
he wouldn't be any better.
But,
Like that's just it.
just-
That system is not made
Just
for
to put a
running
bow
back.
on it, I am correct. It is Dak and Russell Wilson are the two
Okay.
that broke the scale. Yeah.
Well, looking at what's on this, it just got moved
I'll
off.
put
I
it
was
back
looking
so
at what's
you-
on the screen real quick because we never actually really properly addressed it. Is there anything on here that anybody has any thoughts on? Just because Jack mentioned it, the wide receiver market has gone insane because of the draft and also just
The
everything
trades
that
for
happened
no
with the
reason,
trades.
yeah. The no
is
raising
there-
trades.
Is there anything on here? Because I think Treylon Burks is the standout. I think that's a fantastic move. If you
Well-
believe like the Titans do that he is the next AJ Brown, you absolutely do what you do. You were never going to pay him anyway. You get his replacement, and you net yourself a 3rd-round pick.
I think the big part of it was the fact that they got rid of Brown to get Burks. Like he was even mocked
Yeah.
to Tennessee with Brown staying there.
With Brown
Right,
still there.
right.
Yeah.
So now that Brown is gone and then Burks goes there, I think it skyrockets him a lot.
It shoots him up my board, like where it's just like that's the one to me where it's like if he wasn't before, and he probably was, but if he wasn't, he's probably number 3 at this point. He might be in the conversation for like the number 2 player overall in your rookie drafts next week.
Depending on where these running backs land.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Depending on
Brees
that.
Hall won no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's a dead solid lock. There's no debate. He would have to end up Jack? What situation could he possibly wind up in where he's not the one?
The Colts.
Tennessee.
Sure,
Even
not about
in
it.
Tennessee.
I mean, Henry has
Colts
to
for sure. I'll
eventually-
give you Colts. Colts was a good one.
It's the only one I could think of. Like legit.
Colts was good.
Would
Colts was good.
Washington?
Mm,
No,
Kansas
that would
City.
still be
No.
probably a
No,
split
because-
because they're worried about the health of
Yeah.
Gibson.
they're not gonna. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
and
to
that'd be-
split it.
Yeah,
He
one
would
A,
still
one
be
B.
the one. He would
Yeah.
still be the one even in that situation because he'd be the pass catcher.
And there's a guy who's loving this draft so far.
There it is.
Defensive
love-
specialist, Nee Wallace Bruce.
The IDP draft.
The
Best 5
ultimate
picks.
IDP draft.
IDP.
Yes.
We
Gonna
have
love
so
it
many
even
questions.
The
We've had to
Giants.
fill so much air with nonsense. It's been the most nonsense-heavy draft. There's so little for us to do.
It's on
We
brand
have so
for
many
us, at least.
questions.
Knee's gonna love it even more because another defender was selected, Trent McDuffie, to Kansas City.
That's
All right.
because
Makes
of
sense.
with whatchamacallit being gone. I can-
With the Honey Badger,
Honey
yeah,
Badger.
I can math.
Matthew,
Matthew.
Mathau.
I thought Ward.
Mhm.
Joran Matthew.
Ward being gone.
Yeah, but yeah, Ward for sure.
I mean, aren't there starting cornerbacks right now? Is it because Fenton's gone too? So is it
No,
DeAndre Baker?
Fenton is still there.
Okay, so it's
So
Fenton and Baker.
Legarius
Legarius
Sneed kicks outside
look
now. Trent McDuffie into the slot.
So,
So it's okay, but
It's
That's
fine.
basically-
They traded up for a slot corner.
Yeah, they could have
that's-
waited.
New England was apparently going
yeah.
to take him.
I was thinking they were
Or
going
is
to
that
take
what
a
they were
wide
telling him?
receiver over Green Bay. Like if Green Bay doesn't take a wide receiver here, I'm gonna laugh because they're going fast and furious. Like the good ones, like the top tier guys. Like I don't know who's really like up there still now. Like I know Treylon Burks was kind of like around 20, what I was seeing in mock drafts. Even though he has the intangible, he has everything.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think who would even still be left.
Like
Steve's
George
guy
Pickens?
Sky is still there, but that's
So,
probably more.
yeah, George
Watson.
Pickens, Sky
Yeah,
Moore,
Pickens.
John Mechie,
Christian
Uh,
Watson.
Christian Watson. Yep.
I think
Those are the-
Pickens has the biggest wide receiver one possibility.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were Green Bay, that's probably your
I think they have to.
best option.
Like I mean, like they kind of had a promise, Aaron Rodgers, when he returned, that if Devontae's leaving, you need to get me weapons.
They've
you know-
broken so many promises to
I-
Aaron
and I know,
Rodgers.
and
What's
like-
one
and
more,
like-
Jordan? What's one more, man? He keeps coming
Yeah.
back. Like, what is this?
They got
He
him
could just
Sammy
retire.
Watkins. He got a former
Yeah.
first round pick.
Don't even.
This
get
guy
me
gets it.
started.
Well, I was
Mike
going to say they've
Packers.
also had
Mike
the-
Packers, he understands.
They also have been flirting with the Niners and Debo, and now that that's
There we go.
off the table theoretically for Philadelphia because they went the AJ Brown direction, and the Jets now are kind of out of their top end capital. Who knows? You don't want to trade him within the conference, but if you're the Niners, you really don't want to trade him, period. And he doesn't seem to want to be there. So,
Right. You got to move him on. You got to get something back.
yeah, it's going to take a decent haul. And I believe the Packers have 2 picks here. Yeah, they've got
Yeah.
22 and 28. So if you packaged both 22 and 28 to the Niners, I don't know. They'd probably take that.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating to watch Devontae Adams and Debo Samuel on the field at the same time with Aaron Rodgers.
Adams
Well,
isn't
wouldn't
there anymore.
happen.
Oh,
Would've
I'm
been.
slow. Sorry. Would have been if he wasn't traded to.
Yeah,
I was
you know
like-
what, they-
Well,
I mean,
that's
they
not-
had two like several years.
In
to
an
do that
alternate
I
anyway.
forgot.
reality.
I forgot that they did that and then replaced it with Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Right.
I forgot completely.
Hey, gonna have a great
It
week.
slipped my
one.
mind.
Right.
He'll have
Sammy
one
Watkins
good
week
week.
one.
He's gonna blow one.
Well, Packers pick is in. Should be.
Is
And
it
they
quarterback?
take
I mean,
Malik Willis.
Oh.
Oh my god.
That would be
Can you imagine?
Don't get my hopes up for things like that. Don't toy with me. I was gonna jump around. That would have been amazing.
And
I would have.
obviously
I
a
would have
major-
They're
lost.
actually going to beat us to figuring out who the draft is? That's not.
Oh,
There it
Well,
is.
the Green Bay Packers select Georgia linebacker
Oh my god.
Quay Walker.
All
They
right.
hate Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
So much.
You
Hate
held
him.
on that Georgia.
Sure
You're...
I was like,
Hate him.
who the heck's at Georgia?
Touche, Jack. That was it. That was
That's
good.
where Georgia.
What did I
Pickens
say,
from.
Jordan?
Yeah,
What did I
no,
say? They
Did
don't
I make
change.
Did I
They
make
don't
it-
change. Like
They just
You know what?
paid-
It wasn't even a lineman too. It was a defensive player. Like
Mm-hmm.
no,
They
it's
just
nothing
paid
that.
Devontae
Yeah.
it doesn't help Aaron Rodgers at all.
zero help.
Yeah.
I work with
It
so many
makes you- it
Packers
doesn't-
fans. I feel so bad for them that they have to like they make
I don't feel
themselves
bad
like
for them.
well they put themselves up with like all this
Is
like
that the
optimism.
first linebacker off the board?
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So we'd like to see that in IDP.
What's your take, me? You love those
Hmm.
linebackers because they get them tackles, right?
Right. So, and the Green Bay Packers never really replaced Blake Martinez. I know Devontae Campbell had a big year last season, but it wasn't a Blake Martinez season. So, and Campbell won't be around forever. So maybe this rookie incoming can do the job. It's definitely worth a look in your IDP rookie drafts. This class overall, there'll be some interesting names to come out on day 2. I think Nakobe Dean's a name to look out for. Maybe he goes tonight, but I think he's probably day 2. And I'm sure we'll get into some of the edge and cornerbacks that were taken off the board earlier, later on in the piece. But I like this pick for Green Bay.
We can do some of that now since you weren't here with us at the top. I'm curious about your thoughts on the literal top of the draft about watching what I was saying. Jacksonville just face plants right out of the gate. Like that was my.
Yeah.
I'm not an IDP guy, so
Yeah,
I'm curious what you
I
think about
thought-
the ripple effect.
yeah. I mean, they did that with free agency in a way with the signing of Christian Kirk for umpteenth number of huge number of dollars, which
baby.
set off the wide receiver frenzy that we've got going on right now. But Trayvon Walker, that's a Trent
It's hot.
Baalke guy. I do think Hutchinson's the better edge. I think they should have gone with Hutchinson. They'll probably both be solid edges in the league, but yeah, I
Not
think
that
this is
anybody
a
cares,
Baalke
but
special.
the Bills just moved up.
2 spots.
Oh,
Yep. They took
Who
over the
just
Ravens
moved up?
pick here.
The
Oh, okay.
Bills moved up 2 spots.
Here comes Brees Hall. Coming in
Phil
hot.
Well,
knows
why would they-
that
why
with
would
that
they need to trade
linebacker
up?
pick, it's
Yeah, why
Sammy
would they
Watkins
move up,
season,
though?
like we all knew was coming.
Like Baltimore's not that stupid, but
this
Dallas
is the
could be.
year.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jerry Jones could be in love with Brees Hall, and just see Zeke.
Wait,
It's going to be a more murder
Jerry
pick
Jones
if
is
it kills it.
furious. He smashed that
If
empty
Brees Hall comes
skull when he
Really?
saw
Oh, yeah.
Traylon Burks go off the board. And
Well,
he
no,
just
see,
doesn't even know what to do with himself.
They've done that thing, Steve, where they lock Jerry Jones in a closet. Like, so he's not anywhere near his phone right now. That's how Traylon Burks isn't like already a Cowboy. That's what they had.
They locked him in that that underground bunker they had to draft in during the pandemic.
That's right. Yeah,
That's where
they
he's in.
tricked him down in there with Johnny Walker Blue and a human skull. They just let him. They just put him in there.
Is that like a gobble he uses to drink out of?
No, it's an actual human skull that he drinks Johnny Walker Blue out of. That's Jerry Jones's
100%.
glass. That's been the running joke on this show for years. That's how that works.
he's on the
That's
yacht
what they have
in
going
international
for, right?
waters.
Yeah,
International,
well, it literally
yeah.
was that one year
He could do
where he
whatever
was
he wants.
drinking his
Bills are
Johnny
going
Walker.
Brees
They
Hall.
get the 23rd pick. What are we kind of expecting?
Brees Hall.
Could be a
Luxury
wild
It has to
pick
be
for them.
Brees, right? That's not.
If
that
it's
has
not-
to be the-
Maybe Elam. I could see them taking
top to
Elam.
bottom. Top to bottom, the Bills
Yeah.
are probably the most complete team right now.
I think it's
What
either
they
a pass
what they
rusher or wide
need
receiver.
is Brees Hall. Brees
They've
Hall's a
been
luxury
they've been
pick for
saying that
them.
this is largely a luxury pick for the Bills.
Yeah.
Whatever they choose to do, it doesn't really matter. They've got everything covered. So
I,
whatever you
well,
wanna
I mean,
do with
after
this.
they had some issues with their cornerback, White
Yeah,
got hurt last
yeah.
year. That would be another way to kind of shore this up right here.
maybe, but I just don't think they're sold on any
Yeah, so-
running back they have.
The question is, why did you
yeah,
feel
so why
the need
use
to
it?
jump the Cowboys?
Exactly. That's
the
why.
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't- you don't
that's
trade
why I
up-
think it's-
Yeah, you don't trade up for a cornerback, not in this class.
Oh, that's fair.
I think that if you're jumping the Cowboys, a big position's probably wide receiver.
I don't know. They were in love with Kyler Gordon, I think was the one that I thought they were just enamored with, but maybe I'm completely off base there.
He's a back end of the first round, but I wouldn't have thought that Dallas would be looking at cornerback really.
Well, why would they be
Yeah,
looking at running back?
Well,
Yeah,
Dallas
well,
has to be looking
I know
at
that
running back.
Stephen Jones said that they would think about taking one, but not in the first round. Like nothing like that. Like I have a
Mhm.
little faith in the Cowboys front office that they wouldn't do that.
Nope.
Something that
It's
dumb.
Elam.
Oh, and he was right.
The corner.
Yep.
Elam?
Florida cornerback Kyler Elam is your.
I mean, I like the pick.
He is right.
Yeah.
He is correct.
That is a good pick.
I know things.
Way to go, Nate.
Those IDPs, man.
That's why we have Nee on here to break
There
down
we go.
IDP, because the rest of us are bad at it.
Jermaine
Yeah.
Johnson's another.
One who's still on the board that's surprising, yeah.
Well, hold on. Let's let Nee take his victory lap. He was right. So what do you like about Elam, Nee? Are you in favor of this particular move by the Bills?
I just think he's a nice foil to opposite Tre'Davious White, as you guys mentioned before. When they lost, was it Levi Wallace last season? It made a big difference, especially in that game against Kansas City. I think Elam can, the way that he's brings down the separation, the way he sticks to receivers, he's going to be an impact player in year one, and I think he does fill a gap. Where in IDP for fantasy purposes, I'm a fan of using rookie cornerbacks in general. So
Okay.
if you had someone like Stingley, Gardner, whether we like it or not, some of the more seasoned quarterbacks are going to target them as they learn the ropes in the league. So if you needed spot starters, I would always look for a rookie cornerback in the early part of the IDP season.
So I don't know much but I do know I did see him play at Florida a little bit, and it seemed like what his job was to just get right in the wide receiver's face and just jam him at the line.
Mhm.
And if he could do that, he was pretty good. He seemed pretty effective.
Exactly, like he sticks to you like a glove. And out there in Buffalo, that defense they're trying to run out there, the AFC we know is hot. It's a hot passing situation. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson. Now you need someone to be able to lock it down, particularly in the clutch moments, because that's what Buffalo were missing last season.
That's
And
fair.
They're certainly not against the Buffalo Bills aren't against using press. Which
Oh
is
no,
going to
no, yeah,
work
they'll
out
do
great,
that.
which is going to work out great for
Mhm.
him and White, obviously, and just letting their
Exactly.
safeties roam in the back.
It does provide some context to the trade, because if you were sure this is the guy you wanted, you didn't
And it
really
wouldn't cost
give up
much.
too much to make sure you got. If you know you want somebody to press, and he's arguably the best press corner in the entire draft, get your guy and move on. So it's the Bills have a
They
tendency.
gave him a first and a third, right? So they
Fourth.
gave up theirs. Or is that
was
a
it
fourth?
Was it a four?
Yeah, it was a fourth rounder.
It was a four.
It's 119,
So
right? So
it's really not that big of a deal to me. I
130,
don't think
sorry.
that fourth rounder was
Mm.
probably not going to be the make or break thing for you, given how stacked your team already is. So it's probably smart just to get your guy. The Bills, similar to the Ravens, have a tendency to, under their current iteration of leadership, tend to know. What they're doing.
And another thing we need to keep in mind here is the Bills upgraded at edge. They brought in Von Miller. Von Miller's got a little bit left. That pressure he's going to create is going to help the cornerbacks out. Like, you're going to have those throws that are going to be heading towards the cornerback because there's so much pressure being generated by him.
we were talking about, because obviously living in Denver, we were talking about the possibility of him not returning and signing, and Buffalo came up when the whole thing went down. And I remember just talking to some people I know out here, and two of these people actually know Von Miller, and apparently it goes like this. There's an amount of money that'll make anybody do anything, right? And when they gave him like the $60 million or whatever, it was like, well, where can I rent a house? Like, I'm not buying anything, but like, where? I guess just help me out. And we were all joking, like, yeah, no, that's the amount of money it would take. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, when's my flight? We're going to Buffalo, folks.
And it was even one of those weirdly structured deals.
Right.
It was, but a lot of that, though, is going to end up in his pockets.
Mhm.
So it's worth it for him, especially because he was never going to get that money here in Denver. Like, there's not enough money left to pay him that kind of salary and do all the other things they need to do to keep the team moving. So,
and Von Miller is also a big fan of Toronto, which is 2 hours away, so that helps.
as long as he doesn't go down to Florida, every time he goes to Florida, he gets in trouble. You got to watch out for that if you're a Bills fan. Just speaking to somebody who's familiar with it.
You act like the Bills care. They throw people through tables all the time.
That's true.
They throw themselves to
true.
the table. They
It
care about
counts.
their players, not themselves. Like,
Right.
I don't know. The way that Josh Allen runs, I'm surprised that that dude runs with so much reckless abandonment. It doesn't even matter.
That is one of the reasons people thought were, putting Breece Hall in Buffalo.
Well, I
was
mean,
to take some
So-
off Josh Allen.
yeah, but they have two other running backs they could do that with, and they choose not to. So,
but
I don't know.
now that he doesn't go to the Bills, like Buccaneers are another good landing spot for Breece Hall. That was another one that
Mhm.
was rumored early in the draft
Right.
process.
I don't think that's as good as people think.
It might not be good, but that's just where I think he might go. Like, where,
Logical.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I find it?
That would be like a Jason Light kind of move.
As a Leonard Fournette truther, how dare you?
Now, what do we think of Devin Singletary?
Not much.
It's going to be
Yeah.
a committee, like always.
Try not
nothing,
to be
Nothing,
honest.
nothing is going to change.
He
He's
gets
gonna,
a slight
He
bump,
proved
but-
in the second half of last year that
yeah.
it's his job to lose. But I mean, there are some decent running backs in this class that day 2, day 3, they can compete with Singletary, no problem. So I don't think much of Singletary until we get through all 7 rounds of this draft. And even then, we've seen guys like James Robinson come in undrafted and still steal a job. So
At one
Elijah
point,
Mitchell.
Singletary
Not
was getting outplayed by the ghost of Matt Breida for about 4 games in there.
Right.
Once that
PJ
happens, like it gets bad. I think we did, what was the last
Mills
pick,
jumped.
gentlemen?
we're still waiting on the Cowboys to make a
That's
pick here.
what I was just checking in on, because we're still waiting on the Cowboys
Yeah,
here.
they still
I'm
got
trying, man. I'm looking everywhere.
They still
I
got
can.
4 minutes. It's still pick's not in yet.
So
Jerry's
breaking
just
news.
pounding on that
well,
closet.
I was going to say
door.
Jerry is like, he's out of the closet now. He's furious.
Well, Burks
He's
isn't
seen
there,
all these
so
mixed
he's trying
tags.
to trade back. Yeah.
Is
That's
there
what it
any
is.
other Arkansas player that is even draftable that he can
Trey
just throw
Wade.
in there?
Well, I saw something too that like Stephen Jones said something sheepish, like we don't have any needs. We'll probably take BPA. Well, there you go.
You have a lot of needs.
Oh well, that was the ongoing joke
Well,
too. It's
yeah.
like
Here comes Malik Willis.
Like-
oh, no.
no, they need
That
offensive.
would be
They
great.
just lost 2
That
offensive
would also
linemen.
be great. I like that.
Well, they need offensive linemen, but they
Yeah.
also need help in the secondary. Really, what they need is picks. That's what they need. So if someone's
So that's
looking
why
to
it's
move
taking
up to
so long.
24, move back. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, I think they're
But
probably
again,
annoyed.
that we're applying logic to Jerry Jones. So
There you go. Yeah.
no.
Man, I swear, if he gets a running back here, I'm going to be so upset because I love freaking Tony so much.
Yeah, as somebody who has Tony Pollard in
Everywhere.
very upset about that.
I'd be very upset about this.
I
Well, it might be
will
good for
cry.
Tony Pollard, because maybe then they'll let Tony Pollard go at some
Yeah.
point. He can
But
go
no,
play
because
somewhere
then you
in the
have
future.
Zeke,
Where?
and they're gonna have to like try and get Zeke carries, even though it's not gonna be anything like fruitful. But it's just gonna be a wasted year for Tony Pollard.
Mm. hmm
Come on, baby.
So
But I don't
AJ
think
Brown
that's
is
gonna
apparently Brown's apparently getting $100 million for
Yes,
over
that's
4
what he
years
wanted.
in the rapid four.
With $57 million
That's what he's
guaranteed.
getting.
It's what he wanted.
Pick is in
I'm still not picking anything up, though.
F5 season. Let's go.
Come on, baby. You gotta give me something here.
Jack's not here to.
I know. I have like
for it,
6
so-
people that I'm looking through, and none
Yeah.
of them have broke it yet.
I think it's offensive line. I'm getting some people saying offensive line.
That would be logical. That would go against what the Jerry Jones ethos is.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
but
say
it would feed into your trapped in the closet theory.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah, if anything, I think this might be where Jermaine goes to, but
Yeah, if it's not
That would
Jermaine,
be
it's
BPA.
N'Kobe Dean. Yeah.
Reports are Tyler Smith,
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
the Tulsa,
So they're gonna have Smith bookends. They're gonna have T. Smith bookends on their offensive line.
at least for 3 games.
I just
So one of Tyron's body parts
That
fails
was
again.
ice cold.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. I was Tyler Smith.
Confirmed. All right.
you gotta confirm.
Well, it's somebody I don't recognize. He's got a blue check mark. Does that count?
No,
I mean, it's pretty
There's a
common
lot of people that
knowledge.
have a blue check
That
mark.
that
common
does not
knowledge.
that does not count. That just means you're a real person.
Not now that. Yeah.
Oh,
It is Tyler Smith.
Goodell's announcing it right now.
Tyler Smith.
I mean, I'll be curious. There's been reports he could be guard or tackle.
Yeah,
They need
it's-
both. So I mean,
there it is.
Yeah,
Tyler Smith, number 24.
Okay.
Ravens on the
Good for them.
clock. Brees Hall on the board.
Oh.
Here it
Just
comes.
saying.
Here it comes.
Burn it all down, baby.
Let's go.
Don't get me wrong. I really like Tyler, but I think this isn't their best choice. I
it
think they
would
could.
be it would be really Ravens of them to go get Jermaine Johnson. There's be a
Mhm.
Ravens thing to do. It really would.
That's so Raven.
That's
I'm surprised these kids even know what you're talking about there, Steve.
That's why they just kept moving back because they
Dude,
had
I
to-
grew up-
Dis-
what are you
up
talking
on that
about,
Disney
kids?
Plus. Come on.
Oh, I guess that is true. Now in the streaming age, you can watch whatever you want.
Exactly.
I don't think Jason realized how old I actually am.
Probably not.
Yeah, not even. You act like
It's the Canadian healthcare system. You look so
Yeah, it
young.
must be. Yeah.
I'm a
You know,
little
the
salty.
Universal
on that.
healthcare. That does
You
it
also
for
don't have to
you.
worry about taxes. which
Oh,
is
I
funny.
also want to give a shout out to the Toronto Raptors. Hard fought series. Really hoping they were gonna win after going down 3-0, but they got absolutely destroyed by the 76ers at home. So
It
Raptors
happens.
had
I
to
mean,
win
the
one
fact that they
eventually, right?
even competed was enough for me. I was happy that they put together something.
yeah. It's too bad Fred wasn't there.
right.
Maybe they
That
could
that is
help,
the difference.
It's a good night to be in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is a
Aw.
good
Ask
idea
AJ
in
Brown.
Philadelphia. Yeah. I was gonna say, ask AJ Brown.
on
There
that
you
Talking
go.
about some walking around money.
He's got about $25 million to walk around with, right?
Exactly.
At least that first.
How
This season.
how on brand is that for Howie Roseman though? Trading back, getting AJ Brown. That's so Howie.
You know what's really on brand? Is glass. You can get on shop.importantnonsense.com.
It's very much on brand.
I
Also,
still want
look
my
like
shirt.
Draft
Steve.
22.
I swear, if that shirt isn't up in like the next, I'll give you a week. I'll give you a week.
The Angel Hernandez.
Yes, the Angel Hernandez shirt. I want up so bad.
Oh,
I
you're
will
gonna
buy
take
it
full credit
immediately.
for that. Yeah. Okay. No.
No,
He's
I
gonna
don't.
take full credit.
You can have all the credit. I don't care. I just want the shirt. That's all that matters to me.
You just want four shirts so you can
Yes.
rotate them through.
Yes. You think I'm kidding? I will literally wear it every
I don't
day.
think you're kidding, Jason. I've worked with you for years.
Especially if one's a
Based on-
polo.
based on most of your streams, yeah, we understand that's a very plausible thing for you to do.
I fully believe he would buy 4 of those shirts and then wear them to everything for like until one of them got disintegrated.
Yeah. It would fall into pieces, and I'd be like, well, that sucks. Next one up.
On to
Buy
the gray
another
one.
Ooh, different colors. That's a better idea.
You
I
didn't
totally
have that
didn't
in
even
mind
think
in the
about
first
different
place?
colors. I was just going to go the same
They're
color.
gonna
I
be
would just
happy
wear the
now.
same shirt all the time.
That's so sad.
Oh, perfect. There it is.
The guy covered.
Now, Steve, who are the models for those shirts, and how can I be one of them?
Why is that the most fascinating part of all this?
It's a
That
compelling
is
question.
that is
Something about the
crucial.
actual-
I need to know.
Mhm.
Nothing about the products. Let's just talk about the models.
Right. Let's just talk about the models.
Well, because we
Stock-
just thought you
stock
randomly
models,
took
okay?
people off the street.
I didn't just randomly take people off the street and give them merch. No, they're stock models.
Speak for yourself.
That's their job.
That's
is
exactly
to
what
model
everybody
the
thought.
merchandise.
So give them a peek behind the
Okay.
curtain, Oz, and let them see that you just picked people off the internet and said, "Hey,
Yes, I took random strangers off the internet.
You went to
and
Craigslist.
Gave them
Steve
merch.
went to Home Depot and just
Yes.
asked random people if they would do this, and he had a box of shirts and his cell phone camera, and then somebody
one of
was
you try
recording
this on?
It's
audio. with,
amazing
like,
what
the-
you can do with the iPhone these days.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
absolutely. That's
Imagine
exactly
going-
how we did it.
Going in
It's
for a
like we
toilet
do all our
seat.
production.
Going in for a toilet seat coming out of stock model.
That's right.
Right.
This is America, right?
Well, we can't
That's right.
afford union
Mhm.
like models and actors, so we had to use regular people. It just happens that there were some very attractive people at the Denton, Texas Home Depot that day, and that's just how it went down. We got really lucky.
Right.
That's the story.
Like, what you get-
I wasn't sure. I thought he might have gone to North Texas and picked up a couple of their students and said, "Hey, put this on real quick."
Yeah, I constantly prowl along the college.
An easy way to get on the list.
I got a lot of connections when I was scouting Jalen Darden for the Bucks last season. So,
Oh, I can't
Made a lot of
breathe.
friends.
Whoa! Hang on.
My
Oh.
eyes.
Sorry, I'm a bit late to the party, but the Ravens traded Marquise Brown to the Cardinals.
Yep.
Yes,
bro.
you are
Yes, you are a little
you
late.
are late to the party.
That's
Yeah,
why they
it
have
did happen.
That's why they have this pick. This is the
It-
Cardinals pick.
Yes.
It happened right, like
Uh,
it happened like 5 minutes prior to the AJ Brown deal. So it was a thing for 5
okay.
minutes, and then the AJ Brown thing happened, and nobody talked about it ever again. Like that was, it just went away. That's it. It's amazing.
People will be
how
talking
quickly
about
it
it
happened.
in the next couple of days after this draft is ended because that's amazing.
Oh,
Must have
it's
been really major.
Yeah, it's lost Jason.
Tornado got him.
I mean, that was the epitome
Shouldn't
of a
make those
Ravens move,
jokes.
though.
I shouldn't make those.
Nader.
Boy, should have been living in Kansas. Huh?
I shouldn't make those jokes,
Okay.
but they're so easy when he lives in Kansas. It's so easy.
Oh my god.
I have so many Wizard of Oz jokes. They write themselves.
Oh my
Out of
god.
control.
Jordan, I'll just do this show for you, man. Jordan's my audience of one.
All right, well the pick's in, so
Oh, wonderful. So they sent.
Reese
So
Hall.
to recap for you, Nee, specifically, they sent pick 100, and is that right? Hollywood. Did we get that backwards, or is that right? Did they
Ooh,
send it, or was it 100 with?
the Ravens are
They got
selecting
100.
Tyler Linderbaum,
Why have they had
Okay.
such a
What?
great day?
center.
What?
The Iowa center that
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
arguably
Okay.
already on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Wow. That's what.
Now that he's in a Raven uniform, yes, that is confirmed.
Yeah,
But that's what I don't get because Mike's right. But like, why is he going like late 20s or mid 20s?
because he's a center. I mean, he's a
No, but I
phenomenal
mean,
player.
I guess, but if he's really that good, like a lot of these teams need offensive line help, and if you get a smart center, like look what Creed Humphrey is doing or did for Kansas City his rookie year.
Yeah, but that's also he went in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, like he had like a high,
Tyler Linderbaum.
but I guess that you're right about that. Like he's just a center. Like what can he really do for you? Like I don't know.
It's positional value. That's the big thing there. It's a phenomenal pick.
It's a great pick, and like this, the Ravens are smart. Ravens one of the smartest front offices in the league.
So
Both
the
of, like
Ravens
if you're going on
traded-
just on talent, they have coming into this draft, they have probably two of the top 5 talented players at their position.
So they traded Hollywood to get 23 and 100 from the Cardinals. And then they traded 23 to get 25 and 130 from the Bills.
Oh yeah.
So really they traded Hollywood for 25, 100, and 130.
I think once Jordan Davis was gone, they were perfectly fine dropping and dropping and dropping.
Moving back.
What a consolation prize Kyle Hamilton
Right.
is too.
I was gonna say
He's nice. Yeah,
Great.
big fan of Carl Hamilton. That is honestly that's the name that I will be looking at in 90p rookie drafts. He's a safety that I liked. Going into that system in Baltimore, we know that it's a division where there's a lot of running going on. I feel like he's going to pick up a lot of tackles, stopping the run. I think I'm a big fan of Chuck Clark as well, who's the incumbent out there at safety. But
Jets
I
are
like
coming
Kyle
back
Hamilton
up,
too.
trading with the Titans for their number 26.
Malik Willis.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, that would be great.
Talk about watching the world.
That would be
burn.
amazing. That would be amazing.
Well, I mean, so what are we looking at here? You've got Malik still on the board. Now the Jets are moving up. Probably not going to
Offensive
happen
line.
there.
That's probably gonna be offensive line.
And you're jumping in front of the Bucks because obviously that's the way the Bucks are going. They're going all in to try to win.
Oh my
more.
gosh! Are they going to go running back here?
What interior?
I'm thinking they want some sort of lineman, wouldn't they? Because
It makes sense.
Get in front of the Bucks who want a lineman.
Yeah, it'd be the logical pick. I don't know who's
Charles
available.
Cross?
He's
Did he
gone.
already go?
I don't know any guard that would be worth this pick.
Evan Neal.
Yeah, that's a puzzle.
I don't think there's a guard that they're going to take, or center, guard or center. Interior guy. But the highest offensive lineman I would think would be Bernard Raymond.
Maybe Jermaine.
That's the next one on the list.
I'd be very shocked if it was a running back because they have a pick coming up in not too long.
That's what they
They
traded.
just traded that.
Yeah, they traded that Tennessee.
I thought they had two. Did they have two early seconds?
I think so. Yeah, I think they traded the one that was third.
Lamar is not happy about that pick. FYI,
Well,
he
lost.
tweeted what? WTF?
Yeah, well, he lost the wide
Was
receiver. I'm
that
gonna be
about
told.
that or is that still Hollywood?
Here it is. So Jets get 26 and 101. Titans get 35, 69, and 163.
Nice.
69, nice.
It's good. It's good.
Always a solid joke. Always a
Contractually
crowd
obligated to do
You're
that joke.
important,
Yeah.
guys.
This is obviously a very mature broadcast that has heard that.
Hey,
joke.
it's almost 11 o'clock.
Also, that joke will never not be funny.
No,
so,
it
Yeah,
won't.
every time.
So the Jets are taking
Jermaine Johnson.
Yep.
There it is.
Okay, that makes sense. And
He's
Tampa.
the
He's
hell
on
on the
fire,
edge.
by the way. Just so we're on the same page. And he's like 3 in a row.
That's why I was confused. I was like, why would they look at an O line when Jermaine's still there?
Yeah,
Well, this would be one of the few things that would be left that's available that would actually be worth moving up for. You know what I mean?
Well, considering especially they were mocked by plenty to take Jermaine in the top 10.
Exactly. So that's
If
what
they
I'm
can
saying.
sit there
You
and get him at the back end.
Right. You
Wait.
get your opportunity. This is just playing with house money at this point for them.
Can I give my prediction to where I think Malik Willis goes?
Sure.
Go for it.
I think he's going at 32 to Minnesota.
Yeah, I've heard
That
that.
would make
Oh.
a whole lot of sense.
I can
That's
see
where
that.
That's where I was going. So you've got the Bucks coming up, then the Packers, then you've got the Patriots who clearly aren't going to do it. You've the Chiefs who aren't, obviously, and then the Bengals. Then you've got the Vikings who traded back with the Lions and got all those extra picks. I mean, it makes a ton of sense. They have the need. They clearly didn't buy into Kellen Mond, and now it's a whole new coaching staff who didn't even draft him. So I mean, they're looking for their guy. There's only 1 year left on Kirk Cousins' deal. They're trying to move on from him as soon as they can. So, yeah, for me, that makes a lot of sense.
And all I hear is he needs a year to like learn the system and just a year to soak in the NFL experience. So it just makes sense. It'd be a perfect landing spot for him.
You know what other quarterback is going to be here for just a year? Maybe that's it. Tom Brady.
Hey,
yeah, but
that'd be good. Somebody to learn under.
I get it, but they need the offensive.
No,
line
I don't
help,
think. No,
and
I
they're
don't think
trying to
Tampa
win
is
on
actually
it.
going to go for that. Minnesota makes a whole lot of sense.
But that's what I'm saying. It's if somebody wants to trade in for it, I don't know who's willing to trade out. Maybe the Patriots are willing to trade back again.
Yeah,
they always are.
But
yeah,
typically,
I'll tell you what, the Jets have done pretty solid this draft. I'm pretty happy with who they picked so far, with Sauce, Garrett, and Jermaine Johnson all being That's pretty scary. I'm impressed that they're actually making those moves.
I mean,
Yeah, they
they'll
got-
all
they
be
got-
especially with a defensive-minded coach, like because he came in and he didn't have a whole lot to work with. He had Quinn Williams. He's brought
and
in
they were
someone
already
in Thomas
successful.
agency.
Jaguars
scary
have traded
defense.
up to
Wait, what?
Jaguars have traded up to where the Bucks are.
So
So
clearly,
just-
that's who the Bucks were looking at, maybe, or maybe they just don't like the line at this point.
I think that's it.
I don't think they care about the interior offensive line that is available right now.
Yeah.
Do the Jags have another pick in the first?
They're the first
No?
first pick of the second round.
Okay,
Okay.
makes it a cheap deal. That's for sure.
Brees, throw gasoline on everything.
Oh my god!
my
Throw
God.
gasoline on the
Imagine.
world. Burn it down.
Can you
That-
imagine?
Oh,
They're going to run triple running back sets.
Light the internet on fire. Do it. Do
Nope.
it, Balky. Do it.
They're already mad, so they're going to go with quarterback.
Oh,
They're like,
God.
nope, we're done with Lawrence. Forget this nonsense.
They're just going to play Wildcat all season.
That actually might break me if that happens. Why did you put that? Like, just that thought in my head.
Yeah, you see
Hey,
what Jack
anything-
does to you? Like, Jack did that same stuff to me earlier today with his stupid pinning nonsense.
Okay, but that's not the same. Like,
Yes,
let's
it is.
not-
It's exactly
it's
the
not.
same.
It's not the same at all. It's not even close.
It's exactly the same. Drives me crazy.
I had to keep explaining this to Mason earlier today. These are the same people that hired Urban Meyer. They can't be trusted to make quality
There we
decisions.
go. There we go.
They can't be trusted. You hire Urban Meyer, you've lost all credibility.
Yes.
Oh, man.
hmm I mean,
Hey, there's Jack.
if I-
Speak of the devil.
I'm
hello,
Urban Meyer.
Hello.
No, I was more.
No.
I was getting heated
Different
up all
devil.
over again over pinning.
Oh, because Penning went to the Saints.
Yeah.
Well, no, because
they
they were
didn't go to
talking about
Chargers.
making the world burn, and so with Jaguars coming in, it was.
Oh,
Jaguars-
Jaguars are taking Malik Willis.
Thank
Wait,
you.
what?
That's exactly.
Stop it. Stop it.
Yes. Jack is on my wavelength there. Thank you, Jack.
No, I'm interested to see what they do. George Pickens
That's the
feels.
first name that came to mind.
Mhm.
Because, they didn't spend enough money on wide receivers this offseason.
like-
Right, and Evan Ingram.
Maybe.
Right.
but again,
I
that's
don't-
something they'll probably do because it's the Jaguars.
Sure, you can't fix stupid.
Trade.
Everybody knows that.
That's why That's
Thank
why I
you.
opened the bet with Brees.
Maybe they put Kadarius Toney on the card and just don't realize it.
At 27, we want LaVisca Chenault. I really like what we've heard about this kid.
Oh,
Wait,
good
we
really
already
good
have
system.
him? Oh, wow.
so
Never
so
You've been here the whole time.
and
She's been throwing you the football.
We need to put a bell on you or something.
Jeez.
NBC Sports Edge has a question for you. Better fantasy landing spot: Hollywood Brown with the Cardinals or AJ Brown with the Eagles?
AJ.
AJ Brown.
Yeah,
It's
AJ
not-
Brown.
it's not
Is that a
even
real-
close.
Is that a real question? Is that like an actual question, or is that a troll that someone wrote?
Is
using
it
the
like,
NBC?
Come on, NBC.
which would you rather have in fantasy
Clickbait.
next year?
It's clickbait.
Like,
Yeah, that is an easy conversation. We're just
That's
being
why our
silly.
website exists, to bring
There it
you
Oh,
the real information.
Jags pick is in.
Devin
Oh.
Lloyd. Well, that makes sense. They
Serious?
do need a linebacker.
I mean, they weren't
Wow.
worried that Green Bay was going to take another linebacker.
Yeah, because they're not going to give him a wide receiver.
They could
Does
have been
not-
worried. They could have been worried with the Patriots because I saw Devin Lloyd the Patriots a lot in mock drafts.
Well, I mean,
Before they
Devin
give-
Lloyd was
Yeah.
the number one linebacker on the board for me. So
Yeah, before they give Rodgers his money, they're making
Knee
sure to
doesn't
wipe.
seem
beef-
to inquire.
No, let's go to knee here for the. For the
No,
instant
I mean,
analysis.
they brought in Foyesade Oluokun in free agency from Atlanta. They paid him a lot of money. I get it. They've got a pretty solid edge now with Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. So you want to have another big boy in the middle to kind of beat up the run game of the opposition.
Needed an upgrade over Shaquille Quarterman was the LB2 there, so you needed an upgrade,
Right.
didn't you?
Yeah, because they didn't properly replace Joe Sherbert when he left, but I don't know. Just we'll see. Because they also brought in
By the
Terrell
way,
Adams, who used to play for Houston.
Officially, the deal was number 27 to the Jags, and then in return, the Bucks get 33, so they'll start the day tomorrow, and then 106 and 180.
As a nice transition, I will take that as my leave for the evening because I will be back for the second round. And I'll be able to take over with Tampa Bay on the clock.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Mike.
Good
You
one,
and me a
guys.
lot tomorrow, so
Pleasure as
Mike.
always.
just
Hey,
get used to
congrats.
this face and this face at shop.importantnonsense.com.
Mike, congrats on
No more
Kenny
codes
Pickett.
on there.
Yeah, enjoy that.
Had to just throw it in at the end of the
I
when I
did,
was on
yeah.
my way out. I'll
Don't
Clip
enjoy
worry,
it.
the Colts are sure
Come
going to
on.
screw the pooch too. You'll be fine.
Twitch.tv/nonsenseff. Clip it. I want to get that clip, guys. Thanks.
So we have a hot take here.
Phil.
Whoa.
Phil. He says Hollywood over AJ for fantasy next season. Number 2 target for Kyler over number 1 target for Hurts. First of all, you don't disrespect Rondale Moore. Okay, he's the number 2 target in Arizona still. I will not hear
Until
this
this guy's
slander.
drafted.
It's the number 3 target for Kyler compared to the number 1 for Hurts. And it's easily AJ Brown. It's gotta be.
Because volume is king here. Whether you believe it or not, volume and opportunity is what will win you fantasy seasons.
Well, we're just hoping there's enough volume in that Eagles offense overall.
Well, who else is he going to throw to?
Well, he's got Devontae Smith, he's got Goddard.
Goddard.
Both are less talented than AJ Brown.
Fair enough, but you're not going to just. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You can't just force feed the ball to AJ. They've proven this over time.
Watch me.
Yeah, okay, then he'll play 4 games. Like,
Yeah.
but if you give him a
Phil,
reasonable
you're killing
workload,
me. You're
like
killing me,
he's
Phil. Look, I love me some Kyler, okay, but I don't hate Jalen Hurts as much as you clearly do.
Yeah, that's a lot of pain there.
I also think, to Neil's point, that AJ Brown, he had 2 knee surgeries last offseason.
Yeah,
he is
brand new.
now a full year removed from those double knee surgeries. I think it's less of a he's always hurt when you give him the workload, and more of a he got hurt 2 years ago, waited a full year for surgery, and then suffered the after effects of having surgery for another year.
Bro, this Mike Tomlin quote is killing me on selecting Kenny Pickett. It's interesting. We circled the United States the last several months exploring all of these guys, and we ended up with the guy next door.
That
That
is
is-
Bro, of
interesting.
all of your opportunities, you're happy. Oh, I'm
you haven't listened to Mike
interesting
Tomlin
because it was
talk
a
much,
mistake.
apparently.
Here's my biggest thing, okay? My gripe with AJ Brown all along has never been his talent. It's always been that he's in a run-first offense with Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback. So now he's going into primarily a run-first offense, but Jalen Hurts. Would you rather have Jalen Hurts or Ryan Tannehill? I'd rather have Jalen Hurts. So if you're going to make the argument that A.J. Brown was a top 15 wide receiver with Tannehill, how can he possibly not be a top 15 wide receiver in Philadelphia? Gotta be. Has to be. And there's no way Hollywood Brown is a top 20 wide receiver as the number 2, 3, 4 option in Arizona.
What's Hollywood Brown's ceiling at this point? Christian Kirk's season last year? Or do you think he could do better than that?
No, it's the Kirk season for sure.
The Kirk season from last year?
That's the ceiling. And Kirk was what, 28, 27?
Something like
off the top of
that.
my head.
I'd have to check, but something like that.
Hey man, it must have been a really good season. He got paid, so nothing. No disrespect to Christian Kirk.
Did he break?
There's a lot of disrespect to Trent
quality decisions. Can't do it. Same people.
Packers will select Georgia defensive tackle Devontae
So
Wyatt.
what did Jalen
No.
Hurts do to you?
No.
Phil,
Aaron
we have
Rodgers,
so much
Aaron Rodgers
content
should
for
just
tomorrow
retire
now.
right now.
Bro.
Aaron Rodgers, just retire right now.
They paid him all this money and literally just give him the finger as they walk by.
God. Well, Pickens is going to the Chiefs then. Chiefs would have to move up to get him. A joke.
Wow.
Wait, so I missed that. Who was the pick?
Devontae Wyatt.
Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle.
So they drafted 2 Georgia
Okay, from Georgia.
defenders.
Yep.
They did. They
They
did.
did.
Yeah.
They did do that.
They're really just planning on running the ball, aren't they? It's going to be Jones and
They got-
Dylan just
Yep.
And
demolishing
Sammy
people.
Watkins. Sammy Watkins is
Right.
there, don't forget.
Mhm.
They had a
He'll
great
run some
week
jet
1.
sweeps.
I was like, is there a tight end that we can throw to?
Bob
He's going
Tunyon,
to be too busy blocking.
Is it still Tanyan? So no.
who peaked 2 years ago.
What? No. Now that he's the only option, he's going to get all the touchdowns. I don't.
Okay, well
This works out great.
you keep believing that.
You enjoy that.
Yeah,
You enjoy that. You'll have all the.
Do you
You'll
not
have that
remember
all
when
to
Adams is
yourself.
gone? That's how that works
Far
out.
away. So
No,
far
when
away.
Adams
from that.
is gone, Aaron Jones becomes a target monster.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
Not.
Both running backs
100%.
would actually be way up
100%.
the Packers.
Mike knows.
Mike Packers. Like I said before, Mike Packers.
Mike Packers.
Mike understands.
He gets it. He knows what's up.
He's following along.
I can't believe there's. Oh my god! I can't wait to speak to the Packers fans at work tomorrow. They're gonna be seething, and I can
What's-
tell them like,
Hmm.
why? Like this is your fault. This is why you don't have optimism. This is how I feel about the Maple Leafs. You have any optimism, and it just gets absolutely destroyed. That's your fault for
There
having
we go.
believing in your team.
Yeah.
Only, what do you think?
Those
Because they got
Maple
two.
Leafs.
They got 2 decent. The Packers got 2 decent defenders. So if their strategy really is
Yeah.
to run the ball, how do you think they did?
I like the first pick, but this second one doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me personally because they paid Kenny Clark a lot of money. He's the incumbent nose tackle for the Packers, and he was a first round pick 4 or 5 years ago. Now they're bringing in this guy.
Yes.
Are they maybe they're gonna change things up in terms of the scheme with Wyatt involved, but I don't know. I don't know when this guy's gonna if he's gonna be a starter straight away.
Right.
I'm not sure how he
How
mixes
he works
in
into the rotation over there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially with just signing Jerron Reed too. He's a clear backup now as an older prospect because
Mhm.
he is 23 years old. And there are some off the field questions as well. So yeah, this seems like a Packers pick.
So we're back to Mike.
It's a definite middle finger to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Aaron.
Yeah.
I can't believe how
On a-
pissed off I am.
On
I'm
a
not even
conference
Packers.
call, Traylon Burks about what he knows of the Tennessee Titans. Quote, I played Madden with Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. Well, there you go.
That's all you need to know.
Super Bowl.
That is all you needed to know.
All right.
That's all you needed to know.
That's
Also,
a lot
our,
of
uh,
information.
Our friend Dave Fiorella, big fan of the Packers bungling of this first round.
We all are.
Oh, we
Oh,
all
yeah.
are.
Everybody
but-
here. Yep.
Oh yeah. This
but
is
he
some
tweeted
vintage
about it.
Packers.
He was hoping for it to happen, and he's very glad that it did. Yeah, we can all rejoice.
to find a way.
Packers
to
have a
not do that.
strong defense now, though. My word.
Yeah.
Run it down their throats and just we'll worry about scoring that way. Aaron Rodgers says on the Pat McAfee show that he knew the Packers were planning to go in this direction. They had 6 wide receivers with first round grades, and all were gone. So defense it is.
Yeah. Good thing you can't trade
Hmm.
up for any of these guys, right? You'll
That's
trade
not how
up
the
for
Packers work,
you trade up
Jordan.
for a backup quarterback. We will
That's
trade up for a receiver that can actually
If
help.
only you had 2 back end first round picks
Yeah.
to,
Right,
to try
right.
to move up and get the guy you want.
This makes that sound even worse. Like
We have picks at 22 and 28, but we don't need to do anything. They'll fall to us. This is fine. We're good.
When do the Packers pick in the second round? I'd hope they pick in the
Let's
second
see.
round.
Great question. Their next pick is 53.
Oh boy, that's a bit of a wait.
Sky Moore.
Sky Moore is going to be long gone.
Yeah, I
Pretty
don't
long
think
gone.
Sky Moore.
You know what?
Oh my goodness! What a reach by the Patriots.
Oh gosh.
Cole Strange, the offensive lineman from Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
He was. Well, he was the number 2 guard on the board coming in.
I would very strongly disagree.
So-
He was most like a 4th, 3rd round pick for most people.
If
Jack,
you go
are
by
are
the NFL's top 150, which is not obviously science, he's like 80.
Oh,
Like that's the NFL's own numbers.
I've
That's
got
late
him
third round.
projected as a back end second round pick.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
for him
better.
to go back end first round. Then
That makes more sense. I was thinking back in 3rd, early 4th, but as long as we agree, first is not what we expect.
definitely a reach. Definitely a reach.
so are you telling me it's a strange pick?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, wait.
I had to get that in there.
No, you didn't.
No, I keep thinking of really bad Chargers jokes, and I don't feel like I can comfortably say them about how much protection Herbert has.
I'm glad you
compared to
feel
Rivers.
that way. So,
That's a good impulse.
that's a good
I
impulse.
thought-
You should go.
I
with
thought you were
that.
gonna say the biggest joke was not getting Sauce Gardner, and I was.
I'm still upset.
That was never going to happen.
Hey, everybody has a pipe dream.
That's
didn't have to
fine.
be mine.
I mean, the
fine.
biggest joke is really missing out on Trevor Penning. I mean, he was right there.
I hate you so much.
Saints are just a better run team.
Completely
drafting Trevor
blew it.
Penning.
Just completely blew it. Had your chance. Now he's going to be all pro every year of his career.
Much like Drew Brees.
Just to spite you.
Packers
Look.
have now not used a 1st round pick on a wide receiver for 20 straight drafts.
That's right.
Correct. Mhm.
That's right.
And the 1 year they get rid of one of the best receivers in the league, 2 first-round picks.
The 1 year they had literally no wide receivers. They took no wide receiver.
Can they convince Jordy Nelson to come out of retirement?
Right.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
Can Jordy come back?
Jarvis
See,
Landry.
That's why I think they're going to draft Alec Pierce, give him number 87. You've never got Jordy Nelson again.
You've already
No,
got Sammy
all they
Watkins.
need is
You've
Jake
got the
Jake
ghost of
Kumerow.
Randall Cobb. You've got Alan Lazard.
You got MVS, I believe, still too.
No,
don't
he's
they?
No,
Nope.
he's in
No,
the
he's
Chiefs.
No, he's out. He's
Oh,
in
yeah,
Kansas
that's right.
City.
He's out now.
You've got Robert
You got
Tunyon,
You got Sammy Watkins.
Big Bob,
for 1 week.
1 week
Just 1 week.
Watkins.
It'll be the best week ever.
They'll actually
40
no.
points.
I'm just so excited for the Packers fans just to be so hyped for his 12 catches for 202 in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
And then-
throws a hammy in week 2. And
I was
Rushing
about to say,
touchdown and receiving touchdown.
Yeah.
Week 2 inactive
Oh.
hamstring. I was just
Yeah.
thinking that.
Yeah.
like patreon.com/important nonsense. Get those official projections. Here's one for free. Sammy Watkins, 205 receiving yards week 1, 315 receiving yards for the season. There you go. You got it.
No touchdowns? You're not
Okay.
giving any touchdowns in that
No.
first
He'll
week?
have 2
Well, like
touchdowns in the first
3
game. He'll have a
touchdowns, like
receiving
3.
and a rushing touchdown in the first game to give them a lot of hope.
He'll have a
So-
random game in week 9 where he's got 1 catch for a 6-yard touchdown for no apparent reason.
He played 15
That's
snaps
how
or
he'll get up to
less.
3.
He
Yeah.
played less than 15 snaps in the game. He just caught 1,
Right.
and that was it.
So Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show says that Alabama wide receiver Jameson Williams was the most NFL ready wide receiver.
Yep.
But Lions trade up for him. And Rodgers adds, it doesn't seem like there was a Justin Jefferson in this draft, which is funny
Not
because Justin Jefferson wasn't even the Justin Jefferson of his own draft.
You know what? Justin Jefferson also went 22nd overall, and that's what the Packers picked.
The Kansas City team picks George Karlaftis, edge rusher, with the 30th overall pick.
That's fine.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
Just to not go offense for a change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were
Yeah,
going
In
to
the
pick
one
something
draft that they arguably needed to.
Hey, they double defense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, double defense.
This means that Mike Dana is now a backup,
Mm-hmm.
and Frank Clark is still a starter.
Frank Clark. Yeah. For how much longer, though? I mean, is Frank Clark starter worthy?
No.
No,
No,
thank
he is
you.
not.
Thank you, Jack. That's the correct answer. Now, no, Frank Clark's terrible. No, since the Seattle.
I mean, as a person, I don't know.
No. As a footballer, it's probably a nice.
And it's also arguable, I think. I mean, but,
Yeah, no,
Your Honor, my client did not slander Frank Clark. He is a lovely man. My client could not possibly have said that.
we did not. We didn't slander him at all.
Your Honor.
It was lost in translation.
That's true. Slander's
Lost in
written
translation.
down. It's libel.
Well, and we're not claiming anything. We're just saying we don't like him.
Yeah.
That's it. If I were to be sued every time I said I didn't like someone, oh goodness.
Jeez.
Oh, I thought
you'd
you got
have the
sued like every
whole
other
New
week.
York Giants organization coming after you.
So while we're kind of focusing on things that aren't important, what do you think you could get for Rashard Bateman right now?
In a trade for Rashard
Yeah.
Bateman?
Yeah, if you were able to right now as a fantasy manager, what do you think you could possibly get for him?
In a
That'd be
dynasty
worth your
league?
Well, hold on.
Gotta-
Before we answer that, I would like to counter with where would he rank amongst your wide receivers this year?
That's a fair start.
Well,
Is
again,
he your wide
two
receiver
different
one?
things: redraft or dynasty.
Yeah, I need context.
Is
Redraft.
Rashad Bateman your wide receiver one in Dynasty from
No.
this class?
Oh,
from-
as
from
layered on
this class?
as
Yeah.
I see what you
If
If Rashad, so basically,
Rashad
Bateman was
didn't
in this
come out
class,
last
would he be
year
number
and
one?
was dropped into this class, he would be number one.
okay. So
I put him just
with
ahead
that
of
in mind, you think he is better than the 105, the 102 or 103?
Yeah.
Honestly, unless it's super flex, and Malik Willis isn't even worth the 102 in super flex right now because he's undrafted. So
Yeah.
basically, you're saying unless you get the 102, and even that might not be enough, you're taking Rashad Bateman.
If I'm giving up Rashad Bateman, first of all, I don't want anybody from this class. So
Unless
if I'm giving up
Breece Hall?
Rashad, yeah, unless I'm getting Breece Hall, but you're not going to get Breece Hall.
In the right
that
situation.
trade will probably never happen.
Yeah.
No, it's
So-
it's ridiculous. But
If I'm
this
giving
is
up
the
Rashad
conversation.
Bateman, I'm getting a 2023 first. I'm getting probably a 2022 second just to have the filler, and I'm getting a veteran of some sort. I'm getting a lot. I'm getting my money's worth.
Okay.
Okay, so where does he move up in redraft?
I mean, it's a great question.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm trying to
I'm trying to do
before I
math on
really
the
get
fly.
you'd have
onto
to
it.
divide up part of what Hollywood Brown's job was.
I
and
can
he
try to
wouldn't
do
get
some
all
of the
of it,
math here.
but he would get
So-
some of it.
Just again, peel behind the curtain a little bit. So I had Hollywood at wide receiver about 23 in PPR, Bateman at 45 based on target distribution. I would say right now you'd put Bateman right there in that top 24 with Hollywood out. So he's easily top 24, probably borderline top 20, given volume, touchdowns, workload, target share. It's going to be really difficult to keep him out of that wide receiver 2 conversation.
So, like, if you're getting Hill and a 2023 first. I mean, I'm just trying to float an idea out there, kind of as a.
With the 31st
Probably.
overall pick, in the 2022 NFL Draft, the AFC champion Bengals select safety Daxton Hill out of the University of Michigan.
Daxton Hill.
So that's an interesting pick for them. They needed help on the back end. I think they're going to get more help, next year from their top 10 pick than they do from their pick this year. But I think they'll be all right.
You think they're picking top 10 next year?
I think the Bengals weren't horrible last season, but they were 10-7 and won a very beat up AFC North. And I get that, it's Trubisky and Kenny Pickett now fighting for that job in Pittsburgh, but Baltimore is healthy. And you've got the Browns who got Deshaun, who is not going to be suspended this season. So
we'll see about that. That's still up in the air.
I know it's technically up in the air, Jack, but the NFL continues to say they're not going to suspend him until the justice system has played out, and it won't play out until next summer.
They have precedent on their side, actually, with that. The NFL has said that a lot of times, and they usually
That's
stick by
different
that.
because I thought Roger Goodell had left it ambiguous today.
No, that maybe today, but previously they have said we're not going to do anything until there's a criminal charge filed. Actually, something's got to stick.
Regardless, I still think the Bengals are a better roster than both the Ravens and the Browns.
I don't think they're that much better. And I think last year they really benefited from having the 4th place schedule in the AFC North. Now they're going to have the 1st place schedule from the AFC North. They're going to have a more difficult path to get back to where they were. I think they're more likely to hover around that same record, be 10-7 or 9-8 again. And this time they miss out on the playoffs. I'm clearly joking on them being a top 10.
That's better than the top 10.
But I think they're more in the neighborhood of 13-14 next season in the draft order.
I like this. I like this pick for IDP, to be honest, because right now it's Von Bell and Jesse Bates who are safeties. They're not great, to be honest. They're not. I know Jesse Bates had that nice interception in the postseason, but for IDP, not very good. They're both free agents coming up in the next 12 months. So Daxton Hill, he's a guy I definitely look at for Dynasty IDP rookie drafts. I think he's someone who can be a player for the future if he catches on and gets a hang of this system that they run in Cincinnati.
100%.
That's funny because that's what Steve and I...
They needed help on the back end, so...
Well, that's funny. That's what you and I talked about literally all last playoffs was they kept winning these games, and it's like they're just making this problem harder because they're just going to have a harder schedule. And then when we were breaking down the Super Bowl, that was the big takeaway was they're probably going to end up losing because they can't deal with their back end being as weak as it is. So this is not a surprise at all that they would get some sort of safety help. So it sounds like my only question to you was going to be, do you think he's the guy? Like, is this a fit here at the end of the first round that might actually make a sizable difference, or is this still just going to be an area of need for them that maybe now is just not as glaring of a weakness?
I mean, when you draft in the first round, you get the extra year. So I feel like by making
I think we lost knee there.
Yeah, I think we may.
That's all right. We'll
to fill in what Nee was saying, I do think that Daxton Hill serves a long-term answer and helps in IDP because not only is he a safety, he's a bit of a slot corner as well, which means he can compile the tackles playing up in the box and closer to the line of scrimmage. Am I correct in that assessment, Nee?
Yes, especially in the run-leaning AFC North. You got J.K. Dobbins potentially coming back, or whoever the Ravens throw out running back. It could be Breece Hall for all we know.
Right, Breece Hall.
Yeah. you got Nick Chubb. You got damn it, I forgot the Pittsburgh running back already. Help me out.
Najee Harris.
Thank you. The point is, there's a lot of rushes. There's a lot of running stuff
Right.
to be done. That's the point I'm trying to make here. And
Nee, you're the only guy I know who could go like 4 deep at linebacker on every team and doesn't remember Najee Harris. You're the only fantasy analyst I work with.
Yes.
it's
that would do
late
that.
at night. It's
Hey, he
late
fills
at
that
night.
gap for us. We love it.
I love it. No, I love it because it's not how my brain is wired.
Yeah.
You can get all that insight from Nee and Jack on D lines and money lines during the regular season here at Important Nonsense. Give
You
that shout out,
can.
buddy.
Monday
You
nights.
can. And you can hear about every team. Because what D lines and money lines does is it breaks down every game, every team, every Sunday.
It's a lot of information.
It is. It's a lot of stuff to keep track of.
You'll feel better for listening.
And we will all feel better when this 30-second pick is in.
I'll feel great when Malik Willis is the name.
Yeah,
that
I would
comes
say,
up.
Yeah, I
is
was gonna
this-
say that's the real question, right? Is it actually going to be Malik Willis? It should be. I think we would probably all agree on that.
I don't think the Vikings will, though.
You don't think the Vikings have the stomach for it? Because I could see
Not
that.
the
I
Vikings.
could see that. The Vikings are a little.
Well, they have
Well,
Mond, right?
If he doesn't get
Technically.
drafted here, it's going to be a long. Well, Minnesota's up again at 34.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say like
he might
they're up
tumble.
again in a couple picks, but
He may tumble though because like Tennessee.
I-
Well, they
there's a
could.
real possibility that if he doesn't go now, there's some kind of trade that happens with Tampa Bay at 33, and he's the first off the
I
board
mean,
tomorrow.
Indy.
Yeah.
Because you have 24
Maybe.
hours to think about it.
Right.
You also
Oh,
have
yeah.
Atlanta. There's a couple teams that are just sneaking like near the top of the second
Right.
round that could come up.
Like
if-
Atlanta has 43. Just looking ahead, like you're talking about here. I mean, hell, the Giants, like we had already talked about, I don't think they go quarterback, but they've got 36. I think it's much more likely the Vikings. They've got 34 tomorrow, so they're the second pick.
The Vikings do not select a fantasy relevant player. Instead, they take Georgia safety Lewis Seen.
Mm.
All right.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Lewis Seen is a supreme athlete. He won the national championship at Georgia. That's basically all there is to know. Pair him with Harrison Smith, who's more of a box safety, and it should work out pretty well. But
Yeah.
no Malik Willis.
So he's a
Round
supreme
one.
safety who went to Georgia and won a national championship at Georgia. And that's all you need to know.
And that's all you need to know.
That's,
Yep.
that's pretty much it.
Appreciate
Is
it.
he a bulldog?
Appreciate it.
Must be good. Yeah.
Well, also too, he's like 6'2", which is always a bonus for somebody playing safety to actually be that tall and actually still be playing safety. So that'll help you out a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Vikings go defensively with that new coaching regime and everything going on. They kind of turned things upside down up there.
Well, we
Yeah,
talked
I
about
wonder-
this, real quick. We talked about this before you got here. The thing that we were all confident of was that the Vikings secondary was utter garbage.
Mhm.
So they had to do something to address that. So I'm curious, what do you think about just this in general as an actual answer to their utter terrible back end?
I mean, it still doesn't solve the issues out wide. Like, I mean, yes, he'll be helpful for the deep stuff across the middle, but they still have problems at cornerback.
Hey, they have Patrick Peterson's ghost still.
I don't get
He's
how
good at
you'd be so bad at corner, even though they drafted corner like every year when Mike Zimmer was there.
'Cause
He's
none
good
of
at
them
golf.
panned out. Not one.
You think he would hit on at least one, but you're right.
Oh my god.
You would think.
All right, there you go. Anything sticking out?
Yeah, no wide receiver by the Packers. Like, what a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, the middle
Come
finger
on.
to Aaron Rodgers. That's what sticks out to everybody.
No fantasy
Mhm.
relevant player.
Yep.
in-
No fan. We had our moment with AJ Brown. We went to commercial, and then nothing happened
Nothing happened.
from the offensive side of the
Wow.
football for 2 hours.
So if you got in on it
2022.
early in the week, though, there was only 6 wide receivers drafted in the first round. So if you had the 5.5
Oh.
over, but if you got it late and it was 6.5 and you took the under, you got some cash today.
Right. And how many quarterbacks went off the board, Jason?
One.
One.
A single
Wow.
one. It's disgusting. I mean, it's true, but it's just, that's so crazy to me that they're waiting to the second round. I mean,
Crazy
Willis
to
is
me
just,
that the one is Kenny Pickett, the
Yeah.
one
in
who
the green
didn't
room, just
attend
chilling.
the draft.
So where's Matt Corral then? Isn't he in Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'll go off the
Okay.
board tomorrow.
But again,
Just
you're
depends
in the
on
green
where.
room for today. Tomorrow, nobody's going to be watching nearly as intently as they were today.
Well,
No, we'll
so-
we'll all be watching right here. An important nonsense.
and so they still can attend. A lot of players will go home, but
I mean,
they
you're already
can
in
still be
Vegas.
there.
I'd assume that
Yeah,
you're
Yeah,
there
you're
all
already in
weekend.
Vegas.
Well, like first 5 tomorrow, you've got the Bucks after trading back. You've got the Vikings, the Titans again after the trade they made, and then Giants and Texans. So
All
there's
of
some
these.
The first 2 picks, you're getting quarterback.
Well, there's some real possibilities here. Like
they could all trade back.
to me, like I said, the biggest thing was I think the Vikings are a solid fit for Willis, like we had been talking about. At 34, if he's there, I feel like that's a good destination. But the fact that we now have 24 hours, we have this gap, and the Bucks are clearly willing to move back because they feel like they don't have a ton of issues that can be solved with what's on the board. There's going to be teams willing to jump up at 33 to take that spot away and make sure the Vikings don't get Willis. So I think there's a strong possibility he's the number 1 guy off the board tomorrow. It's just who has that spot.
The
I don't.
Falcons.
Why would the Vikings take Willis though if they weren't taking him here? Why would they give teams that chance to jump him? I think they're
especially with the extra year with the contract situation, like cheap running back, 5th 5-year potential.
Possibly.
Yeah, it should have been tonight.
That's a really good point. With the 5th year, on a quarterback
option,
rookie
yep.
rookie contract
you.
is invaluable.
I would love to see the Giants trade that early pick tomorrow for Jimmy Garoppolo, but I guess I can't have
Selfishly,
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has
I think
nothing
you're
to
asking
do
a
with-
little bit much.
Well, I think
At least
that's
he's
the big thing,
handsome.
too. Like, at least he's handsome. So we've got we have Willis, who is the clear number 1 quarterback on the board. That still needs to go. But when you're looking off the board, as Nee just mentioned, you've got Jimmy Garoppolo and also Baker Mayfield and the situation out there in Cleveland. Those 2 guys are going to be floating around as a possibility to move tomorrow during the draft. And then there's still the uncertainty with Debo, who wants out of San Francisco. We went the entire first round without him moving. I feel like if you didn't get first round draft capital, you're probably not going to move him if you're San Francisco unless you get something really decent back in terms of player and maybe future picks. But it's going to be interesting to see how they move on with that as well.
No, I still like the idea of the Falcons moving up here. I mean, you're able to move up for relatively cheap and get Malik Willis and be set at quarterback. Like, it seems like it's such an easy move for a team that clearly needs a quarterback. I don't understand why they wouldn't.
The other one is Seattle, who has 40 and 41. So, they're, tomorrow they're the 8 and 9 picks basically of the second round. So they could easily package those picks or at least one of those picks to move up if that's something that they want to do. It's going to be interesting. But I think we'll see more
What an
quarterbacks
interesting
tomorrow.
draft.
And we haven't seen a running back go.
I was just
No
gonna
running
say,
backs
I
off
was-
the board today.
No running backs. Not that surprising in the modern draft era, but
Right.
Brees is still going to be there on
Well,
day 2. So that's
yeah,
the other
not
one that'll
surprising
probably
for these
happen
guys
early.
either. Like Brees Hall, the most complete guy here, but falls off a
It
pretty
is-
big cliff after that.
Yeah.
It's an obvious question, but is Brees going to be the first running back off the board, or is someone going to do something off beat?
Brees is the most all-around complete running back. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a pass-catching specific back, there are other guys that give you that option. If you're looking for someone that can play special teams, you're going to get somebody like Spiller or Rashad White or Zamir White or somebody like that later on, as opposed to paying up to get potentially Brees Hall here, who is a 3-down guy.
Yeah, and if you want a guy who can just bang it between the tackles and probably really is, if you want your dad's running back, Kenneth Walker III.
Yeah, if you want to be
Like-
Tennessee at 35 and get the heir apparent to Derrick
Nick
Henry.
Chubb Jr.
Nick Chubb Jr.
I think Nick Chubb is generous because
I was
really
gonna
to
say-
me he's Derrick Henry. He does not catch the ball.
I'm
He's
more
never been
talking,
given the opportunity.
Yeah, I just don't want to oversell his size because he's smaller than Nick Chubb even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like 5'11", I believe.
Yeah, and I
have
think
to
he's
double
about
check it.
215.
Yeah.
So he's fine. He's not small.
Kenneth
Just when you
Walker.
compare him to Chubb and Henry, the typical I can't catch
Bruiser
backs.
back, yeah. That's my biggest problem with Kenneth Walker is he gets hyped up as the number 2 running back off the board. He's nowhere near that for me, but it's all because of the fact that he's not involved in the passing game.
Yeah, that's going to be the issue with him for as it relates to fantasy.
Yeah, he's
purposes.
5'9", 211.
Yeah, and he can't catch
God.
he can't catch a lick. So he's really good at running between the tackles, but he even
So he's
but-
CEH. I mean,
No.
No, I mean the
CEH
exact
catches the
opposite
ball.
when it comes the same
Yeah.
size and everything
Yeah.
else, but he is.
Oh, you mean just from a
He's the
yeah.
size of
Yeah.
CEH, but they use him like
But he-
Derrick Henry.
but
Yeah.
he can't catch. Yeah, and so that's going to be
in 3
Kenneth Walker III.
seasons at Michigan State. He
Yeah.
had a combined 18 receptions.
That's
Wow.
When I say he can't catch, he can't catch. Like they would throw him the ball if they could at some point. You got to
Well,
believe
I mean,
at some
but
level.
you think about that at the same level. I mean, Derrick Henry probably could catch the ball, but they don't throw it to him, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well just do it.
Well, they might now.
You gotta have a choice.
Less options, right? Less options. All right.
What is
Well-
his?
Well, thank you.
LaDainian
gentlemen.
Tomlinson is his comparable.
Yeah,
Who?
LaDainian Tomlinson didn't catch passes at TCU either, but
He
that's because
did
it's
in the NFL.
TCU.
Yeah.
Like
The
that
best-
doesn't work out for me. That
no, the
doesn't
best
work.
comparable is the college version, though.
Okay.
But even then, it's a different era.
Mhm.
That was an era where no one caught passes.
Right.
Right.
This is an era where everyone catches a little bit of passes.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. Like you're talking about Walker being the first and second down back and the goal line guy. So if you got to spell him on third downs, you're taking him out for 33% of his opportunities on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, just that.
So
in
he's going to
itself,
Buffalo.
Less snaps.
I honestly thought about it because the thing is, like Kenneth Walker, he's the number 2 like rated running
Well-
back for the actual draft. But as far as actual fantasy, I see him being consistently overrated because I think, and for him, it's all about landing spot. If he winds up in the right landing spot, maybe Kenneth Walker III could be a thing, maybe. But if he ends
But
up
when he
to a
winds
place,
up in Atlanta,
Or Houston.
yeah, that won't go well.
being
you
the
wanna avoid
bruiser
that.
with Cordero Patterson as
You wanna
the
avoid that.
pass catching back.
But there are certain situations where he could land that it might be borderline interesting. But the problem is he's not even like Damian Harris level to me. Like I'd rather deal with that problem than try to figure out Kenneth Walker III. It's just not very attractive for fantasy for me because to Jack's point, you got to catch at least a little bit of passes. But from my end, I would rather you catch a lot of bit of passes. As somebody who plays in PPR primarily, I'd rather you do that. Be Austin Eckler. Like,
Yeah.
super helpful if you could do that.
Especially if you get in the end zone. That's
That's super great. Like do that. Like that's what be DeAndre Swift when he's healthy. That's what I'm looking for. Like as what I'm
There we go.
evaluating running backs for fantasy.
You
Do
mean
things
what,
like that.
what Josh Jacobs going to be this year?
That's why we don't talk about Josh Jacobs. It's not relevant anymore. He just runs between the tackles and fall.
Yeah.
It's not.
That-
There's no point.
That's
to this
actually a
coverage.
solid comp. No use at all in the passing
That's true. It
game,
actually
but
would be.
used
Yeah.
between the tackles. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's basically Josh Jacobs. Yeah. Good one. I like it.
That is a
You're
good one. That is a good one.
All right, boys. Appreciate your time. Fun as always. Night
That
one in
was
the
a
books.
blast.
Yeah.
1 day down, 2 days to go.
We got done 20 minutes early. Good look at you, NFL.
Yeah, I told you they're sprinting through it this year. Love it. absolutely love it. And that's with all the
beat 'em.
trades and craziness and insanity.
It feels
so
like
we'll
there
go-
were less commercials than normal. Like they were just
Well, I mean, again, they were pushing through it faster. So
yeah.
all right. I will be back tomorrow. Jack will be back for a little while tomorrow. I don't know. Will any of you guys? I know Neil won't. Nee, will you be with us a little bit tomorrow?
Unfortunately, not. No. Saturday.
Saturday.
I'm coming in to close it out.
Yeah.
Jordan, I know you're going to be here Saturday.
Yep, I will be on Saturday.
Wonderful.
If you ask nicely, I
Nerdman,
might be here
potentially
Saturday.
if you wake up, right?
Yeah. If
you
I'm
don't-
awake,
If you don't
I
sleep
might
through
be here
brunch,
Saturday.
you are going to be here on Saturday. All right. Well,
we can have mimosas.
yeah, exactly. Mimosas and
So you wake up at noon, just get absolutely blitzed. I love it,
Yeah.
Jason.
Well, I
exactly.
did drink gin pretty much all night tonight. So, if you haven't noticed,
Hoping
do
we
you-
would
on
end the
brand.
live stream.
Why do you
before
hate
said
yourself
that.
so much?
No,
Why?
no, no, no.
Hoping it became obvious about halfway through too. So
Rude. I said completely under control.
No,
you're
by
good.
by pick 4 when you're like banging the tail for Sauce Gardner to the Chargers.
That's because
think-
I wanted it. There's a difference.
Well,
He would-
no, I'm
no,
just saying-
no,
His
Jordan, he's right. He
enthusiasm,
would have done
right?
that stone sober.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That
It
would have
wouldn't
happened
matter.
anyway. I've worked with this man for years. That's absolutely that the behavior would have not changed.
No, it's all the same. It's all
That would
the
have been the same.
Same person the entire time. I just got louder.
same. All right. One night down. Two
Two
more,
more to go.
We will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here. Same channel, same place. Till then, everybody, keep up the nonsense.